unwashed, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh fights odor in just one wash, guaranteed.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey guys, it's CDOT here to remind you to download the Odyssey app so you can listen to 96.5 wherever you are straight from your phone. You have the option to listen live, listen on demand throughout the day at your convenience, or you can listen to any of our original podcasts like Character Concerns and 249 Miles of College Football. Plus, if you're in Kansas City, you can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs game with Mitch Holtis, Danny Hughes, and our guy Kling. Download the free Odyssey app today and follow 96.5 The Fan,
Chiefs,
your home
Raiders,
for Kansas City
Sunday
sports.
at 3:25 right here on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I love days like this. I'm so excited, Dusty.
Mac, you
I can't wait.
96.5 The Fan. Bob Fescoe, Dusty Like Mac Maury. Mac, how you feel today, dude?
You good,
all right?
Mac?
You okay?
Like a sour burp in there and everything?
You seem like maybe...
Are you on the camera in there? Is your camera working today, Mac?
You seem a little down.
Yeah, put your camera on.
Now do me a favor, Mac, do me a favor, and go to my Twitter and read the last tweet I tweeted.
Go ahead. Read that out loud.
I want to make sure you're awake.
Yeah, you awake this morning? Because I know somebody said you busted into the bathroom and knocked the stall down, and then you come in here and you have a sour burp, and your heartburn. My heart is racing right now. Can you read the damn tweet that Dusty put up?
27 seconds ago.
No.
Wait, what? Is this real?
Oh, it is real, and it is spectacular. Good morning. Yes, Mac is very excited.
Yes. We knew that. We were sitting here, and we're like, Bob's like, I don't think he knows. Because, like, he went to the bath, so we'll connect all the dots. Welcome to Fescoe in the Morning. Breaking news.
Yes.
The Chiefs have acquired or are acquiring wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans for a maybe later on day pick. So here's the story of our morning. Bob Fescoe and Dusty Likens. We're sitting in this room, and Mac's kind of walking around. He's fumbling with the cameras, and he looks a little disheveled. I go to Bob because he came up to me in the bullpen. And he's like, hey, Hopkins to Kansas City. And I'm like, okay. Scratch the rundown. I go tell Mac. He goes through the double doors. He comes back, and I'm like, did you talk to him? He's like, wasn't in there. Sterling just said somebody went in there and bulldozed through the bathroom and left. And then you come in here, and we're like looking at you, like waiting for you to be like, hey, did you guys hear? And I'm like, all right. And then you left. I looked at Bob. I said, he has no idea. I said, I was like, he has no clue. I was like, he has no idea. And then you go back in there, and you have the burp and the heartburn look. And I'm like, you okay? And I'm like, Bob, he has no idea. He's just got to stay off his computer. He's got to stay off his computer. And then we're like, how can we distract you? So we're speaking foreign language to you about the cameras.
I know you guys were taking me off about the
camera today. Like, we were just trying to distract you for the last 2 minutes.
What are you guys doing?
And then I'm like, and I have the tweet quoted because you sent out the show tweet, and it says, on 96.5 The Fan and The Fan 96.5, thoughts on Cooper Kupp to the Chiefs rumors.
Oh, my God.
Jay Binkley to talk college at 6:45.
Tell you what, Binkley's going to have some thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins today.
Max Pack and Bob's Bottom Feeders and more. And then I had a quote tweet and say, and new wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City. But I couldn't hit send. I had to listen to Herm Edwards.
Yeah.
And that's why I told Bob, I was like, we gotta get him there.
Oh,
and Bob's over here. I'm not kidding you. Like, I'm not off my ass. I'm standing this entire time. I hope this angle of this camera is not in an appropriate spot.
It's pretty great.
Okay. And Bob's like, ducks on water where up top everything seems calm, but underneath those feet are going 100 miles an hour. Bob's just like, dude, we got to go. Sources are telling me this and telling me that. Offense might be different now, obviously.
Wow. I actually wanted to. I actually wanted to.
Oh, that was fantastic.
I actually wanted to get started a little earlier today, but I know with the podcast and Lash, the guy who fights the bear with the switch in college.
That's so great.
He's mad that he fights a bear with a switch. I mean, he's out there with the switchblade fighting bears in college. It's unbelievable. But anyway, so he was complaining the podcast doesn't start till 6, so we start at 6. I wanted to start a little early today, but from what I'm being told, my sources, as I read my phone and I feel like an old man this morning, looks like he's going to end up here. It's definitely trending that way per source. But also that they're probably going to end up giving only a day 3 pick up for Deshaun Watson. And Dusty and I were kind of counting the drafts. Okay, day 1 is the first round, day 2 is second and third round. So you're talking somewhere between a 4th and a 7th round pick.
And Rappaport's
giving up for a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
So yes, third day pick for Deshaun Watson. So it has trended that way. And I can tell you what, they're fired up.
Pick him up on your fantasy rosters.
Yeah, well, pick him up on your fantasy roster because now they've got somebody, in the game that they can rely on from a veteran standpoint. They've got, Rashee Rice obviously is not part of the equation right now. We'll get into this as the day goes along. There is very much copious amounts of optimism that Hollywood Brown will be back in December now for this team. And so you start to think about what could be happening later in the year. But with DeAndre Hopkins, you're getting experience. He can play against zone defense. I know a lot of people out there that matters to them and whatnot. From the people that I've talked to this morning, they like him against the zone defense, and they really think this is a guy that you can trust, obviously, at 32 years old, but more importantly, that red zone presence. He's really good in the red zone, so I think the Chiefs are going to be very excited about that. To have a guy that can finally score, from a pass-catching standpoint inside the 20-yard line. And it goes to show you, man, you covet something for 5 years, you're bound to get it, baby. Let's go. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 years ago, everybody wanted in Kansas City, and now we got DeAndre Hopkins, and he has no contract, to deal with at the end of this season, which is the most important thing of all time. What does it say on there?
It says Mac looks shook, and someone screenshotted the moment he found out about Hopkins.
Yeah, it's all over the Twitter. But the good news is with this pickup is that there's nothing that the Chiefs are owing DeAndre Hopkins after this season, and that is very, very important to the organization, because as we were going to go through the Cooper Kupp saga today, and where that was one of the biggest holdups and one of the biggest deterrents really with Cooper Kupp is that they were going to be on the hook for another $20 million next year. And look, the Rams floated that rumor out there. We'll just call it what it is. That there was no conversation between the Chiefs and the Rams. The Rams floated all of that information out there to try to get the wheels moving on Cooper Kupp. And I thought it was really funny yesterday listening and watching and seeing what some of these folks were saying about, Cooper Kupp and asking him, people are calling about you. No, the Rams are calling everybody else about Cooper Kupp because they want to unload that salary and move that thing forward and move that player out so they can change things up a little bit. So the Rams were calling everybody and their brother yesterday about Cooper Kupp. And as of last night, I was told the Chiefs hadn't even talked to the Rams about Cooper Kupp because of what the compensation would have been on the front end. They were looking for like a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick, and then you would have owed them $20 million next year, and that would have depleted a lot of things that they wanted to do in the offseason. So they went a different route, and as Brett Veach always does, magically pulling that ace out of his sleeve and going out there and getting DeAndre Hopkins for, what do we say, a day 3 pick, a 5th round pick, or whatever it is.
Could turn into a 4th.
Could turn into a 4th. That means if, you got incentives and all that nonsense, and, DeAndre Hopkins does his thing, and if the Chiefs win a 3rd Super Bowl, I don't think Brett Veach is going to care if this goes to a 4th round draft pick. But you get to basically keep all of your good draft picks together, because there's a lot of free agents that are going to be on this roster next year, from Trey Smith to Bolton to, it's time now to start talking about Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie. They're eligible now to start being in that conversation of getting paid. You want to have money for those guys. Justin Reed coming up on free agency as well. Is that a guy that you're going to look to re-sign? And if you would have brought Cooper Kupp in here with that $20 million hit, it really would have hampered what you
were the
could
guys
do.
you were saying needed contracts?
Trey Smith, Bolton, Justin Reed, and Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis can now have conversations about their contract once this season is over because they're going into that 4th year, of play. And you can pick up that 5th-year option, but I guess that's like the franchise tag this day and age. You don't want to pick up the 5th-year option. You want to get somebody extended long-term. And look, let's call it what it is. Karlaftis and McDuffie have earned long-term contracts here in Kansas City, right? Like, I don't think there's any debate on that. So you've got basically 5 guys that are on your roster that you truly value that are going to be free agents, allegedly, potentially, allegedly is the bad word, but potentially after this season. You want to keep as much money funneling to them instead of spending $20 million on Cooper Kupp. And if you would have gotten Cooper Kupp, then free agency would have been to steal a term, a blank space for the Chiefs this offseason. So they made the right move with DeAndre Hopkins, banged up a little bit, 32 years old, but that's a veteran presence. Temper your expectation too. That's the thing. Like, I'm looking at his numbers right now, and Dusty are like, how many people already picked this guy up? I don't think he has 200 yards receiving yet on the season. So you temper your expectations a little bit. Just count on DeAndre Hopkins for me to be a Sammy Watkins type of player where he's going to come in and he's going to be that reliable guy. Patrick's going to scan the field 10 or 15 times on each play. And then when he needs that outlet, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be that guy and kind of be that Sammy Watkins guy for you, that outlet. It's 3rd and 7, he picks up 8. It's 3rd and 9, he picks up 11. You're inside the red zone, you get a touchdown, you get a guy that you can count on and rely upon. And to me, that's ultimately where we are right now. That's why MVS wasn't brought in. Patrick Mahomes can't rely on that guy to do anything. DeAndre Hopkins is a guy who's got veteran presence, who everybody knows, a guy who's been there, a guy who's done that, a guy that you can truly rely on. And that's what this offense needs to go, along with number 87 out there as well. Now you've got 2 guys that you can truly rely on, and then December comes along, and the optimism is abound, as they like to say, of getting Hollywood Brown back in December as well. So things are good in Kansas City, baby. Let's go.
Woo!
Yeah, Ian Rappaport, all those people, everybody tweeting it. Ian Rappaport tweeted earlier, says DeAndre Hopkins is being traded to Kansas City in exchange for a 5th rounder that can get to a 4th rounder. Deal is being finalized. A key veteran who would be the final piece. Hopkins' name has been hot in the trade market. Now he lands with the champs.
Oh, also another big move today. Kamara and the Saints agree on a 2-year extension, too. Why would you re-sign with that team?
Get that money and guarantee it. Who cares at that point? Just get his money, I guess, is what he's saying.
Were they talking about trading him on Monday?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
literally.
Yeah. Kai Kamara re-signing with the Saints. Way to go.
DeAndre Hopkins' last game was last Sunday against Buffalo. He had 1 catch for -2 yards.
But he's also going from Will Levis to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
right?
bottom 3 offense to one of the best.
Yeah, his 2 games after that, more probably what you're expecting. Versus Indianapolis on October 13th, he had 4 receptions for 54 yards.
That's a good day.
Against Miami, he had 2 for 31. And then against Green Bay, he had the type of game I think that you can expect from him here more often than not.
Right.
He had 6 for 73, and he had a touchdown in that game against Green Bay. Again, that's all with Will Levis. That's in that Tennessee system that is 1-5 or 1-6, something like 1-5. Probably soon to be heard about in the bottom feeders. And the things that we can discuss on the other side as well, because this will continue to move out throughout the day.
And we can take your phone calls, too, on it, man.
Yeah, 913-586-7965. News of the day, DeAndre Hopkins traded to the Kansas City Chiefs for a day 3 pick, for a 5th that could be turned into a 4th-round pick in Kansas City. So will he play in Vegas? I would assume so.
Oh, God, yes.
But one thing I do want to bring up is the same thing we brought up with Cooper Kupp. Can he stay healthy, which is vital in this system? Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens, Mac Morey. Breaking news today, DeAndre Hopkins has joined your Kansas City Chiefs as the new addition to wide receiver in this offense with one Patrick Mahomes, and you can hear that offense here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes you run into some trouble and you need some help, right? And that comes in the form of car trouble. We've seen it happen all the time, whether it's a car doesn't start or maybe you locked your keys in the car or you get into that dreaded accident. You're always going to need some help. And my friends over at Jay's Southland Tow can help you out of any jam. But the problem is you just don't know when you're going to get into a jam. So what I want you to do is take the number for Jay's Southland Tow and program it into your phone. 816-779-4TOW. That's 816-779-4TOW. Now it's in your phone. Their website, southlandtow.com. You have it and you're ready to go. So if you do get into a car accident, if you do blow a tire like I did on a Friday around 5:30, call Jay Southland Tow. They came out and helped me by 6 o'clock. I was on the road and I was moving again. These guys are unbelievable. They're there for anything that you need when you have that car trouble. So keep the number handy, 816-779-4TOW or at southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, and Tammy from the Weston, it's Jay Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay Southland Tow.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I'm Phil Sims. I played pro football for 15 years. Enjoyed all of it. You know, ups and downs, no doubt. Injuries were part of it for sure for me. When I found Balance of Nature, I said, let me try it. Take it every morning and every afternoon, and it makes me feel happy. I can't say enough good things about it.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off with your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code
Phil.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, my son's teacher emailed his back to school list. He needs crayons and a notebook for every subject.
Okay, no problem. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school.
Oh, now they're saying he needs folders and glue.
You got it.
And markers?
Of course.
Oh, geez.
Might I suggest 2 cards?
Save big on back to school with Staples Hot Deals. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and 2-pocket poly folders are only 50 cents each at Staples. Ends 8/31, in-store only, limit 10 while supplies last.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members save more on select 1.5 pint or 1 quart mums. Get 5 for just $10. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. See lowes.com/rebates for details.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bowling Warehouse is taking over KC with a mashup of football, bowling, drinks, and fun. And with 3 15-foot televisions in the hottest bar in town, there's absolutely no better place for watch parties, get-togethers, and happy hours. And what could be better than splashing down pins at your next business event or private party? Plus, Bowling Warehouse KC is convenient for everyone off 435 and State Line. Whether it's a fun night out or a way for your organization to unwind, make your reservation now at FollingWarehouseKC.com. It's time to fool around and find out.
This report is brought to you by Flying H Drag Strip. Drag racing is back in Kansas City. FlyingHDragStrip.com. Kansas City Drag Racing is back. Join us for October at Flying H Drag Strip, October 25th and 26th, featuring pro mod cars, top dragsters, and quarter-mile drag racing. Plus, Night of Heroes, free entry for veterans with military ID. Get tickets now at FlyingHDragStrip.com. A real horsepower hangout.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
On the Missouri side, 35 southbound slows past Cookingham and stays very heavy for about a mile and a half down past Missouri 152 with construction set up in the right lane. That's overnight road work scheduled to be cleared at 6, so that should be out of your way any time now. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Back in on 96.5 The Fan, your home for breaking news for Kansas City sports. If you've missed it or you just took that first yawn in the morning you're in your car, like, God, I hate Wednesdays.
Or you're just thinking, did I really hear that?
Yeah. Breaking news out of the NFL world, DeAndre Hopkins traded to the Kansas City Chiefs from the Tennessee Titans for a fifth, could be fourth-round pick. Sources all over it. Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter. It's actually their name, so it's official. But yes, DeAndre Hopkins is a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. We go to the text line.
Oh, God.
Where we can only go. Because I literally love, not loathe, love the text line. I feel like they're part of my people, part of my family. Whether some of these people like me or not, it is what it is. I don't.
We all have weirdos in our family, I guess, huh? No offense, text line, but when you hear some of these, you'll understand.
From the 913. Guys, way too early for this energy. Shh. Okay. Like literally spelled out shh with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 H's.
If you want quiet, there's an AM station for you. I mean,
another one. Holy bleeping F, you guys. Then another one. I mean, fresh off the press, right out of the breaking news cycle, from the speaker to the phone to the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, sponsored by the group that you just heard Bob talk to you about, Jay Southland Tow. He's old and washed. It's not that serious.
Okay. He's probably the same guy that like is complaining that they didn't do anything. Have you seen that meme on the X, formerly Twitter, with like the guy with the stick poking the thing? It says "do something," right? That's that guy. That's that guy. Do something. Okay, they did something. Well, that's not good enough.
Do something again.
Do something else. Well, this is the guy that they got, as we've laid out for you and gave you the background on everything and how this came down in the first segment. I don't have a problem repeating it over and over again this morning because a lot of people are coming on board. They're tuning in. They're tuning out. The Chiefs this morning acquired DeAndre Hopkins. They got him for a fifth-round draft pick. The organization is very excited. They're going to utilize him in the red zone. He's going to be a reliable guy, a veteran type of player. There's no contract due after this season, so they didn't have to give up a whole lot in acquisition cost to get him, which if you're Brett Veach, why do you want to trade your draft picks, right? How valuable have draft picks been for Brett Veach here in Kansas City? The guy's cashed in like a king's ransom on draft picks around this town. So you didn't have to give up a whole lot for DeAndre Hopkins. Cooper Kupp would have acquired him for, they were talking like a second-round draft pick. Nobody's giving up a second-round draft pick for Cooper Kupp because the Rams continue to float that information out there. And then you would have to pay Cooper Kupp $20 million next year with the free agencies of Justin Reed and Nick Bolton and Trey Smith, and then the fourth year coming due of Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis when you start talking with them about new contracts. And so if you went out and got Cooper Kupp, you would have given up a valuable draft pick that was way too high for Cooper Kupp. You would have owed him $20 million next year, and then that would have impacted re-signing your own players who, quite honestly, all five of those guys that I mentioned are better at what they do than what Cooper Kupp is at wide receiver in the NFL.
I'm not here to decide who's better or worse or like what it means. I'm here to like let people know what the Chiefs did because a lot of people are like, well, weren't you guys the ones saying you didn't want Hopkins? First off, let's not get words out of our mouth. Hopkins was not high on my list.
Right. He was not number one on my list.
And I'll be honest with you because I will always come clean. But I will say this to you. Darius Slayton, Deontay Johnson were the two on my top of my list.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing. Those guys are still available. I'm not saying the Chiefs are done because now the text line just flooded with, what if he gets hurt? What if he gets hurt? Well, he probably doesn't play.
Well, look, you can say, what if he gets hurt about everybody in this league?
And that was my concern. Like, if I'm being real, like, that was my concern because they had said something or we heard, like, some sort of report that he had, like, a
banged up, right?
Slight MCL thing and that he was playing through the injury.
Right.
There's two things that go into that. Yes, there is probably a chance he can get hurt. That's fair. He was not a guy that I was super high on the list, but he's a move the Chiefs have made that where you can't have both sides of it. People that were super negative, like, are they going to make a move? Buffalo did. The Jets did. What are the Chiefs going to? Their receivers are hurt. They need to do something. They did something. They went and got a big name.
Yeah.
They made a big splash. Now, the other thing about it is I don't think Brett Veach, who values trade picks, would do this with them if he didn't think that there was a good chance he could play through this injury. Right. And that's where I'm kind of at on the line of this, because one thing I can fully tell you that I can admit is that whatever Brett Veach does, I support.
Well,
because there's 3 trophies that suggest that.
Yeah, that's where I look at it. Like the text line doubting Brett Veach, right? Who are you to doubt a man who's constructed 3 Super Bowl winners in 5 years here in Kansas City and is on the precipice of getting another Super Bowl trophy and becoming the first organization in NFL history to three-peat, right? Who are we to sit there and go, oh, this isn't a good move? Like, I love the passion that some folks have. But I also have to tell you to step back a little bit, because if you can find a move out there other than Breland Speaks that bothers you about Brett Veach, bring it to the party, because this guy is basically batting 1,000 when it comes to making moves and trades and whatnot for this organization. Some work out obviously better than others. Some don't work out. It happens in every organization. But Brett Veach is a guy that is sitting on top of the mountain right now looking down at everybody else, and 99% of his moves work here in Kansas City. And so this isn't one where you're looking at DeAndre Hopkins coming in and having to be your number 1 offensive weapon for the next 5 years. You're looking at DeAndre Hopkins on the 23rd day of October, and you're saying to him, can you get me through 2 more months of the regular season and 1 more month of the postseason? That's all we're asking DeAndre Hopkins to do. And then at the end of the season, much like a lot of these guys that have been, in-season acquisitions, you say, see you later. The guy who played for the Ravens that came in here and played defensive line for a hot minute. And, we've seen these guys come across the board a lot. You come in midseason, you play a little bit, and you move on. No harm, no foul. And if you win that 3rd Super Bowl, nobody's going to be caring about the 5th or the potential 4th round pick that you gave up for DeAndre Hopkins. This is more about getting somebody in here that can be reliable for Patrick Mahomes, give somebody that can take some pressure off of the tight end right now, and give you somebody that can score in the red zone. This is a guy that's capable of doing all of those things, and that's why he was a guy that was acquired today by the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not asking him to go out there and go for 1,500 yards. You're not asking him to go out there and score 17 touchdowns. You're asking him to be a reliable piece to a puzzle that has other weapons in it. And again, we have a really pretty good running game right now. Pacheco is going to come back. Hollywood Brown, they're anticipating in December coming back. All of a sudden, for the stretch run of the season, December and January, you could get Pacheco back, Hollywood Brown back, and now you have DeAndre Hopkins into that mix. Who's telling you no? Who doesn't like those options that are there? And, oh, by the way, Travis Kelce comes alive in the postseason as well, too. So we've got ourselves a good thing going on right now. I guess I don't understand the loathing and the self-pity that some people on the text line have. He wasn't our number 1 choice. No, but he's still a good choice and makes you better and gives you something you did not have. And for me, that's a win.
I'll tell you this. I'd rather have DeAndre Hopkins on one leg than Sky Moore.
Oh, God, yeah. Right, yeah.
And I'm sorry that's a shot at Sky Moore. I apologize to the Lord himself for saying that negativity on that man. But I will tell you this. People that are against this or are already in the negative mindset, like he'll probably just get hurt, I really am interested to watch a Chiefs game with you. I would love to watch.
No, I wouldn't.
That's the negative guy.
Nuts. Yeah, that is the negative guy we talked about yesterday.
When I tell you,
and being a Chiefs fan, how can you be negative?
Especially, I just don't understand it. Like I'm super confused, which that's not what it's about. But no, breaking news: DeAndre Hopkins, not Deshaun Watson, is a Kansas City Chief. I think he was so excited he dropped a different name.
Did I say Deshaun Watson?
Twice.
Oh, I did?
It's fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins comes to Kansas City. Somebody did say finally Mahomes has his 6'4" target. He's 6'1".
Yeah, he plays like he's 6'4".
But plays, and got big hands.
Huge hands.
He's big hog, which means leadership. And Patrick Mahomes has a veteran wide receiver. And again, here's the thing. What do you want to guess? Maybe on average, 6-7 targets a game?
Yeah, I think that could be a little much. I'm thinking
I think that's a good sweet spot.
I guess. Yes, targets, you said, not receptions. I would say
targets.
Like what he did last game, 4 for 54 and a touchdown.
The last game it was 1 for -2, but before that.
Yeah. And again, this guy for the last couple of years of his career has played with Levi's. He's played with Kyler Murray. He's played with some really dog quarterbacks out there. Now he gets the opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes, right? And I always get excited about that kind of stuff. When a receiver goes from ass to Mahomes, it drastically changes what they do as well, because the ass quarterbacks can't get the ball to the receiver. Now you got Patrick Mahomes, who knows how to throw an oblong ball in a spiral and hit somebody between the numbers. And
That's
so
right.
he's not running for his life like the other quarterbacks that DeAndre Hopkins had. So I'm excited about the potential with this. I think it's really cool that this organization that's won 2 Super Bowls in a row isn't sitting back and going, well, we've won 2 in a row, whatever happens. Again, it goes back to what I've been telling you since July and whenever the schedule came out. The main goal for this team is at all costs go out there and win that 3rd straight Super Bowl and three-peat and put themselves in a different type of stratosphere than everybody else. And that's a move today showing you they are committed. Like, as a Chiefs fan this morning, getting this news about DeAndre Hopkins should make you so effing happy to get out there and get Hump Day going and get Wednesday going, like give you a pep in your step for the rest of the week. We all suffer the midweek lulls, right? Dusty was going through a little bit yesterday on Tuesday. A lot of people like, oh, Wednesday, just get me over the hump till Thursday. I woke up this morning thinking it was Thursday, realizing it was Wednesday, going, oh, it's only Wednesday. And then DeAndre Hopkins falls into our lap, and I'm like, sweet, the NFL week is starting off great here in Kansas City. We got a guy that we can rely on in the red zone. Take some pressure off of 87. Be a guy that can be a Sammy Watkins type receiver, and we owe him nothing at the end of the season, and we have to give up a 5th-round draft pick. Let's go, baby. This is a good day to be a Chiefs fan.
Diana Rossini, who might have somebody wrong from the Kansas City Chiefs, giving her information, but this is right. According to her, the Rams and the Chiefs discussed Cooper Kupp, but the Super Bowl champs needed to trade with a team that was willing to take on a large chunk of the salary and didn't want to give up high picks.
That's exactly right.
Tennessee is the team willing to play ball.
Correct. Which is what I don't know if I tweeted that out yesterday, but unless the Rams are willing to eat a whole lot of dough and take a lesser draft pick, the Chiefs weren't parting with him, because with all of these guys that are up now at the end of the season, your Trey Smiths, your Nick Bolton, your Justin Reed, and then Karlaftis and McDuffie, I hate to break the news to you right now. Don't expect a lot of spending in free agency this year. The draft is going to be free agency for the Chiefs this year, because they have those 5 guys that are available to be paid. And I would rather sign all of those guys to contracts than wait around in free agency. So when March 17th rolls around and the Chiefs don't sign anybody from outside the organization but keep all of their guys locked up here in Kansas City and then use the draft as their free agency, that's the expectation this offseason. I'm just laying that out there right now. So when October 18th or March 18th rolls around and somebody signs some half-ass quarterback to too much money, don't lose your mind, because the Chiefs' free agency this year, because of the guys that they have due, are going to be the guys that they prioritize, and then the draft is going to be used as that free agency for the Chiefs this year.
Albert Breer says the Chiefs and Titans are still working out the details of the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Not fully done yet. Likely will have condition tied to playing time and Kansas City winning the Super Bowl again to take the pick from a 5th to a 4th, with Tennessee picking up about half of his salary. How does it make you feel?
That's great they're picking up half the salary, because as the salary cap is a myth, cash is a real deal.
Yeah.
So you can get somebody else to strike a check for you. More important, go ahead and do that. Something the Rams were not willing to do with Cooper Kupp, and it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference when you're giving somebody a player and you say, yeah, we'll eat some of this money in order to move him on. That's a big relief, a big cash relief for the organization as well. And that's a good thing, because it keeps more cash on hand to go out and sign Karlaftis or Trent McDuffie or Justin Reed or Nick Bolton or Trey Smith or whoever you want to sign that's currently without a contract after this season. You go out and you can take care of business. This is a good day for the Chiefs. What a great move by Brett Veach. Honestly, like, to get a 5th-round draft pick and to get Tennessee to eat money for a proven wide receiver that you only need for basically 2.5 months. Let's roll, baby. Let's do this.
Yeah, for a proven 5-time Pro Bowl receiver who, in my opinion, is still a top 20 guy in this league, and I know a lot of eyes widen when they hear that. This is a guy who had over 700 yards in 9 games played just 2 years ago. He had over 1,000 yards on a bottom 3 Tennessee Titans offense with Will Levis, a broken Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis. He had over 1,000 yards with that offense. By the way, for the text line freaking out about the injuries, he's played less than 15 games twice in his career. One of those seasons was because of a suspension. This is a guy who plays through injury.
Hasn't played 15 this year, though.
Yeah, hasn't quite played 15 games right. You're right, this year. I know, so sad. But Hopkins is a guy who's going to get open quickly. He's going to know the offense. He knows how to sit into his zone. Great hands. As you guys know, this was like my number 1 pick.
Yeah, you wanted him all along. Yeah. So here's how it works. Okay, with this, like, we're excited about it. You know who else is going to be excited about this? Those cats in that locker room right now. You don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to bounce in there today like a little kid on Christmas morning? Hey, we got DeAndre Hopkins. That adds to them, right? That gives them an extra added boost of adrenaline. And when DeAndre Hopkins walks into that locker room, all those NFL players are going to look around and go, that's DeAndre Hopkins. Like, they know who that guy is. They know what he's capable of doing. They know his track record. They know that they can rely on DeAndre Hopkins. There's no wondering, or who's this guy from the Carolina practice squad we got? You know, like, this is a legitimate player that's being added into this offense, a legitimate playmaker that can go out there and get the job done at a high level and has shown that he has the track record to do so. And again, give me 2.5 months. That's all we need. I hate the injury conversation at times. Oh, he could get hurt. We talked about the injury this week, and I'm like, it's not my number one choice because of the injury type stuff. But every player on every play in every NFL game is susceptible to injury. That's just the way the league is right now.
Yeah.
And always has been, I guess you could say.
If you missed it, DeAndre Hopkins traded from Tennessee to Kansas City. 5th-round pick, could become a 4th. How does it make you feel? 913-586-7965. Melvin, you've been on the line for a while, so go ahead, man. You're on the air.
Hey, Dusty. Hey, Bob. Look, I understand that nowadays these podcasts, everybody needs content. But I know Dorsey was the one that drafted Mahomes, but from all indications, Veach was the deciding factor in that. And once Veach made that decision to draft Patrick Mahomes over a 2-time defending national college champion, Deshaun Watson. Look at that decision now. We're 3 Super Bowls in. Deshaun had all those incidents off the field. So everybody needs to calm down and have faith in these boys. We all are just armchair quarterbacks. This is what they do for a living.
Yeah, you're right. Preach it.
Andy Reid is a 10-time championship game coach, maybe 11. So we need to calm down and have belief in them, because I've been a fan since '67. I remember the first Super Bowl. I waited 50 years for this, and and plus, Dusty, you might know me from your after hours program. I was the blind man. I was texting you all the time.
Oh yeah.
But we need to just calm down and have faith in the 4-time Super Bowl champion Chiefs. We're going for 3 in a row, but don't forget we already have 4 championships, and these boys are the best in the business. Thanks for taking my call.
Melvin, you're 100% right on this, man. Like, we're not talking about Scott Pioli making a move here. We're not talking about Todd Haley making a move here. We're talking about Brett effing Veach making a move here, who's done nothing but win super effing bowls. So I'm with Melvin on this one. These guys got a track record. This isn't Joe Shane making a move. This is a legitimate general manager and head coach making the move. And if Andy didn't think this was the right thing to do, Andy ain't allowing Brett to do it.
It's not anything except 3 simple things for me today, what this does. It lets me know how damn serious the Chiefs are, not only at an undefeated season possibly, but a three-peat. Right. Three-peat number 1. So three-peat's how serious they went and made a move. Number 2, they realized the writing on the wall. Like, they realized that they were injured and injured bad.
Yeah.
3, you got a guy that fits in this offense perfect. Like, this is Rashee Rice. This is Juju Smith-Schuster. This is who this guy is.
Juju's probably going to be out longer than expected, too, now.
Fine. He'll go on the IR and miss 4 games because he'll have to. But this is the guy that you have Xavier Worthy for the guy that everybody wants to see come back to Kansas City, which was Tyreek Hill, who I think a lot of people miss that type of offense. But this is the guy that is the 6-yard dig route to the outside, plant, turn, catch, first down. This is the guy, 3rd and 4, AFC Championship game against Baltimore, and you need a big first down, DeAndre Hopkins. This isn't the guy that's going to go out there. Now, could he do what Juju did that one game? 7 for 130? Possibly. Is that your expectation? If it is, I mean, God bless you. I love your tenacity, but this is the guy that is, 4 or 5 catches a game on 6 to 7 targets a game, and he's going to have anywhere from 40 to 70 yards. Maybe a big touchdown in the red zone. Also helps your red zone. And so far, the moves that they've made, Kareem Hunt coming to this team, has ended and solidified one of their problems, which is scoring the ball in the red zone close on the goal line. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns last week, could have had 3. DeAndre Hopkins is that guy, 6'1", sure hands, some of the surest hands in the league. Is he a little banged up? Sure he is.
So is everybody at this point in the season, though, too. You know?
Sure, but something had to have been done in order for Veach to bring him into Kansas City. So you get your sure guy that Mahomes loves to have, the 6'1", trusted hands. Your team made a move when they needed to make a move because everybody and everyone, I know for a fact, when they saw Juju go down in that game last week, they said, all right, you got to go get somebody. Now, maybe there were some people out there who's like, no, just run 3 tight end sets and run it with Kareem Hunt and do all that. Realistically, everybody was like, they got to do something. And they did.
And they did.
And they're showing you how serious they are. And I know that doesn't take a lot, but they are serious, and they do want to get this three-peat, and they know what this season means. And we're 2 weeks away from the trade deadline from yesterday. And they made a move today, and who says they're done?
No, and that's the other thing. They may not be done. They will probably continue on and try to figure out more ways to upgrade this roster. And when this is all said and done, I think we're going to look back and go, how important of an addition was DeAndre Hopkins to this offense? Like, people lose their minds over what happens in March, but it's these moves that are made during the season that upgrade your roster. The Kareem Hunt addition, the DeAndre Hopkins addition right now, the Mike Pennell addition. I always go back to that. A big in-season addition the first time that they won the Super Bowl, how big he played for them along the defensive line. There are guys that are added in every year that turn out being huge difference makers for this organization. And that shows you really, to me, the tenacity and really the ability of Brett Veach as a general manager is that you're always looking to get better. It's not easy to get better during the season in the NFL. You got to wait for other teams to admit they suck and fall out and be willing to eat money and all this kind of stuff. And to be able to pick up a player of this magnitude, to be able to pick up a player with this kind of name, with this kind of street cred, is very important at this part of the season because now the players inside that locker room, they're a lot like us. They now believe even more than what they were believing in. Even at 6-0, there's been a lot of debate from a lot of nitwits out there talking about other teams being better and all this kind of stuff. The Chiefs are sitting here at 6-0. Now they go out and DeAndre Hopkins adds into the mix. They're feeling good about themselves. Patrick Mahomes is feeling good. The offensive coordinator and head coach are feeling good right now. The GM is feeling good right now. We should all be feeling pretty good right now. It is a very, very nice piece. But again, you've got to keep your priorities in line. If you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to come in here and be a $120 receiver and 2 touchdowns every game, your expectation will never be met. It will absolutely 100% not be met. But if you have the expectation of him being a reliable guy like Sammy Watkins and make plays like Sammy Watkins made, then your expectation will be met, and that's what this team needs right now.
Did you consider Brett for Miller?
Did Will Chamberlain or Danny Manning, have they reached out to Wiggins?
You think I'm a damn fool? And also just wanted to double check that Dan Kilgore is going to practice today. I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
On the 660, dig routes are in breakers, not outs. My bad.
I'm sorry, what?
Dig routes are in breakers, not outs.
I don't care.
Sorry.
Thanks, Coach.
Hunter,
Good
take
luck
us to
this
break.
weekend against
You're on the air,
Odessa.
Hunter. Go ahead.
Dusty, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I love the move. It's such a low draft pick cost. I mean, we're not picking up Kadarius Toney, right? This is a certified wide receiver for a low cost, and it's not Juju Smith-Schuster who just can't stay healthy, and it's not Cooper Kupp who's just a bag of bones. This is a certified wide receiver, as you guys said, who has played consistently throughout each of the seasons. So I think it's a pretty easy move to make, and I think it makes complete sense. We have to trust Brett Veach.
Absolutely. And to sit there and think about not trusting Brett Veach makes my mind hurt. Like my brain is in pain when I hear people not trusting Brett Veach. This isn't Scott Pioli.
All right. That's Bob Fescoe. I'm Dusty Leggins. That's Mac Morey. We're all excited. Your team did something today that shows that they're serious, and they brought in a big name that could be a big target for Patrick Mahomes. You can hear all of that action, the Chiefs, on Sunday at 3:25 in Vegas, right here on 96.5 The Fan. It is your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
I'll tell you what, man, getting DeAndre Hopkins got me thinking about game day, and thinking about game day has me thinking about Smokehouse Barbecue because they do an unbelievable game day special at Smokehouse Barbecue. Whether you're dining at home or going out to the game, Smokehouse Barbecue is going to get you a pound of burnt ends, a pound of wings, a slab of baby back ribs, a quart of beans, paperware, and serving utensils for $6, all for just $79.95. That includes everything, and you are ready to go on game day. But that's not all Smokehouse Barbecue has going on right now. You've heard me talk about the Sweet Zing chicken wings, right? Those are phenomenal. It is a sweet zing with a kick at the end that are just absolutely delicious. My kids love them, and when your kids love something, you know it's really, really good. I'll tell you what else I love. Our next guest, Binkley, loves it as well. That chili at Smokehouse Barbecue, made with their burnt ends, their crispy meat, their spicy barbecue sauce. I actually ordered 2 bowls the last time I was at Smokehouse Barbecue. That's how good it is. And if you want something cool and different and unique, try the Smokehouse Bowl. Beans, mac and cheese, chopped burnt ends, and sausage, all in one bowl. So delicious at Smokehouse Barbecue. So if you're dining in Independence, Gladstone, or Zona Rosa, try all of those items I just mentioned, and also the barbecue pizzas out of this world as well. So you can try all those items in-house, or you can order at smokehousebbq.com. That's smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Mitchell Schwartz. You know, there's nothing easier to enjoy than watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at the Buffalo Wild Wings located at 119th and Strang Road in Olathe on Friday, October 25th. I'll be there with the crew from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When it comes to beef, nothing tops world-class, highly marbled Wagyu. Booth Creek Wagyu's Overland Park Meat Market is ready to elevate your beef. Their farm-to-fork commitment brings this intensely rich and flavorful beef from the tall grass prairies north of Manhattan, Kansas, directly to your table. Stop into the store to see what our customers are calling the jewelry store of beef and taste the difference. Our in-store experts are sampling freshly seared Wagyu 7 days a week. Located in the shops at Deer Creek Woods at 135th and Metcalf.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Neighbors getting new roofs due to hail damage this year? Then you're a likely candidate for a new roof, too. Century Roofing, voted best roofing company in Johnson County 3 years straight, is giving back this holiday season. For all roof repair and replacement contracts signed before the end of the year, Century Roofing will donate a portion of proceeds to benefit Operation Breakthrough, which helps KC kids in need. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for an inspection today. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Febreze.
Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week, Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la. Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, online at gannasphalt.com. Missouri side 71 northbound, pretty heavy already from 87th Street up towards 75th Street. It looks like there's a problem before 75th, adding to your usual delays. Looking to transform your business's property, noticing crumbling curbs, uneven sidewalks, parking lot potholes, or faded striping. Gann Asphalt and Concrete makes your project a streamlined process with one contractor, all things parking lot. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, online at gannasphalt.com. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Well, we're living here in Brett Veach town. Without him, Patrick is not around. Out at Arrowhead, they're winning games, throwing touchdowns, holding parades. And Travis is catching the ball, dropping dimes to Tyreek
DeAndre
and more. And our sacks are coming from Chris Jones. Ty's making plays. We need more parades. And we're living here in Brett Veach town. Living here in Brett Veach town. This has got potential, buddy.
Back here on 96.5 The Fan, Fescoe and Dusty here. Jay Binkley joining us in just a few seconds. I want to get to more negativity. Maybe not negativity. I'm not going to say that. Not negativity. But from the text line, having a good conversation, constructive one. But it said right away from the 816, why the F do you guys not think he can't get 100 yards? I'm sick of y'all expecting less because you're afraid to be wrong. I responded and said, well, I said, I look for him to have about 5 to 6 targets and anywhere from 40 to 70 yards a game because that's what this team needs. And that's, what I think he can do. And he could eventually sometime go off for 100. Juju Smith-Schuster did. Yeah, sure he could.
Right.
Followed up text. You both have said you expect 4 to 5 targets for 40 to 50 yards. When has he ever been that? I said this year.
This year.
And then he says, you're killing me, D-man. So it's not a super serious conversation. And then I said, well, last year he played 16 games and he had 100 yards 3 times. He averaged 6 catches for 62 yards last season for what it's worth. Then, for what it's worth, you guys started this segment several, all caps, times by saying he's going from Kyler to Levis to Mahomes. Must have been a fake opening. I said, yeah, he actually has a chance now to have 6 catches for 60 yards. Now with Mahomes, Levis has only had 1 good game with him this year.
And you start to look around the league. Jamar Chase has 200-yard games this year, and Justin Jefferson has 1. But setting the expectation level, I think, is very important so you don't think the trade is a bust. We were at the Olathe East Tennis Banquet last night, and I just want to give a shout-out to Coach Reynolds, who every student thanked and said was part of their favorite memory of the year, something related to Coach Reynolds. And he had every student come up and give like what their best memory was of the tennis season, and every student said, Coach Reynolds did this or Coach Reynolds did this, and you start to realize the impact that Coach Reynolds having. And then at one point, Coach Reynolds chokes up last night and says, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm getting emotional. I really like this team, and started praising one of the girls on the team with the highest GPA. The highest GPA on the girls tennis team at Olathe East is a 4.53 GPA. The reaction that the other tennis players had when they heard that was like, oh my God, all these other students, 4.53. I'm not setting that expectation for my daughter to get a 4.53 because that's unattainable. You set realistic expectations for guys, and when they overachieve and they do better than the expectation, then you feel good. But if you go in with the expectation that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a 100-yard guy every single night and he doesn't do that, then you're going to have a feeling of like, I'm not getting anything out of this. But that's because you had the wrong expectation. Have the expectation that he's going to be a reliable receiver and give us a better opportunity to win a third straight Super Bowl.
That dude was high on something.
He was high on college football. College football with Big Clee. They're throwing a chalk and talk some ball with Big Clee. Knows college football better than his own family. College football with J. Big Clee. Got their chawing, wearing them short track style shorts. I heard he almost played football in Nebraska. He used to call Bobby Bowden and ask for football informational nuggets with barbecue sauce. Jay knows more about high school football than you know about your family. B-Dub, call Jay Binkley. Call Bink.
That's right. Jay Binkley joins us now. Shout out to the old number 5s.
There you go.
Brock and Watson. They're bringing us in. Binkley,
Watson, yes!
We had a whole show planned today. We had a bunch of questions for you. What is DeAndre Hopkins to... Well, actually, wait a minute. First off, did you hear Bailey Zappi went to the Cleveland Browns?
Yes, I did. But how about this?
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins has a catch in every single game he's played. It's the longest active streak in the National Football League. It's like at 167 games right now.
Huh, interesting.
No, it is. But here's the thing, too. He only has 1 drop this year. He had 4 drops last year. Before he got to Tennessee, there was a 3-year stretch of over 315 targets, and he had 3 drops. That is a 1% drop rate. What do the Chiefs need? A guy that can catch the football. And I know people are worried about the tear in the MCL and stuff like that. That's a 4 to 6 week recovery time. We're past that at this point. He would be playing if that was going to be effective. But he's a tough guy, and he's going to tough it out through the season. They need him through February. Great move, Brett Veach.
Yeah, and it's a great move. You're right. And talking to some folks in the league this morning, Jay, about this move and what it means for the Chiefs. I had one NFL insider person in the league tell me, like, you mentioned the ability to catch the football, right? He doesn't drop the football. One of the things that I received back was excellent hands and trusted. And when you can have somebody with great hands that is trusted by his quarterbacks, it makes your job as that quarterback so much easier. I envision the type of player that we saw here in Kansas City with Sammy Watkins, the reliable guy that gets you 8 when you need 7, can catch the ball in the red zone, get you a touchdown. Like, that's kind of how I envision DeAndre Hopkins in this mix. How do you see the Chiefs using him?
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of it, especially over the middle, kind of take over some of that Rashee Rice type of deal. But let's not forget, too, the Chiefs really need him in the postseason. They're going to get to the postseason. And by that time, he'll be acclimated to the offense. He's got 7 1,000-yard seasons. He will pick this offense up right away. I think it was a great move for the Chiefs. And, oh, by the way, expect Justin Ross to be activated this week. Just a little birdie may have told me something.
All right, Justin Ross, a little activity. Him for Raider week as well. Do you still hate the Raiders?
Oh, everybody does. Everybody does.
So it's still a big game for you, or is it kind of fizzled with Cincinnati and Buffalo and some of these other teams?
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of look at the AFC as, a grand scale picture now and think, all right, you got to beat the Bengals take L's. You want the Ravens to take L's. But the Raiders are that historical rivalry. I think some of the back and forth that's gone on from the Chiefs and the Raiders, circling the bus around, the way they, acted like they'd won the Super Bowl last year by beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Then, of course, the puppet thing this past deal. There's always a little bit of disdain for the Raiders, to put it that way.
Well, and I will tell you this, it's the perfect time to add DeAndre Hopkins, because I know this has been a circle game, as we've talked about since the schedule come out, with the Chiefs wanting to go out there and pace the Raiders. And with some injuries, you're thinking, they may not be able to do it. But now DeAndre Hopkins gives you a little bit of bounce in your step and the ability to go out there and pace the Raiders like you want to do.
Yeah, no question about it. And who knows how much he can actually help them this week if he'll play. But I'll say this. The key is he will be with this team for the postseason. That's when the season begins, is the postseason. We need him. I remember Brett Veach, talking, back in the day when Sammy Watkins, like, this is why we got him. It wasn't during the regular season. He might miss a game here, that we need him in the postseason. And, MVS was that guy. Didn't do anything during the regular season, but he needs certain guys in the postseason.
Binkley, enjoy my Colorado Buffaloes beating the Cincinnati Bearcats this weekend on the road. So hopefully we can continue that thing going forward.
Man, this team's legit. The way they went down, that defense, the way they played at Arizona, shutting down that offense that they have, and the best, really, arguably the best wide receiver in the country, Tedero McMillan, and really what they did to Arizona. And that's without Travis Hunter playing most of that game and Jimmy Horn that left that game as well. What Deion Sanders is doing there, I mean, this is a far different team. Like I've been saying all year, this defense is much different than that defense that was giving up a touchdown every time they went on the field. Much, much different.
Binkley, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the football news of today, and we will talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, fellas.
Jay Binkley there, our good buddy. Coming up on the other side, Offensive Player of the Year in the league, and for your Kansas City Chiefs so far at this 6-0 start. Again, breaking news, DeAndre Hopkins traded from Tennessee to the Kansas City Chiefs. Today, this morning, Bob Fescoe, Dusty like it's back more at your home for Kansas City Sports 96.5 The Fan.
Fescoe and Dusty.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, we're getting geared up for NFL Week 8 beginning tomorrow, but before that, the NBA season has tipped off, and this season you can make every play, pass, and point mean so much more with my friends over at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. You can check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it is already tipped off. And if you want to do some same-game parlays, future bets, you can do that as well. For me, I'm betting on every team but the Knicks to win a championship this year. So just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob for your chance to score $300 in bonus bets with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA and of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. This year, I get to host, and Hy-Vee's going to make it convenient for me. They have made fresh, ready to heat and serve favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham, prime rib, savory side dishes, and dessert. Hy-Vee's Taste of the Holidays event is coming up Saturday, November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can sample all of the amazing ready-to-serve meal pack options or just get a little holiday inspiration. This holiday season, let Hy-Vee do the cooking while you take the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Let's face it. Nowadays, most companies have to rely on dozens of expensive, disconnected platforms to run their business. And even then, things can get a little, well, stressful. But with Odoo's all-in-one management software, packed with a suite of fully integrated business applications, every process is streamlined. Tasks are automated, and success is just a few clicks away. See how Odoo can take your business to the next level at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
At Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, we turn icy cold rooms into toasty retreats. Comfort Systems is your winter rescue team. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Jay's Southland Tow Service. Missouri sign 670 eastbound starting to get heavy, making your way into downtown. You're hitting slowdowns past Wyoming Street, and it stays pretty heavy past 35 and into the downtown loop. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident, call Jay's Southland Tow Service 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all, so be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. DeAndre Hopkins is a Kansas City Chief. Not officially official, but official enough to be official for you. Fifth round pick is what it's traded for. Could be a fourth. It's what everybody's talking about. I can see Peter Schrager even gelled his hair this morning with his white V-neck on. He's even ready about it. DeAndre Hopkins traded from Tennessee to the Kansas City Chiefs. It does, in fact, make the offense better. It is a position that needed to be addressed. And here they are. The Chiefs have added strength to their offense. The Chiefs have put a trustworthy wide receiver who last year averaged throughout the 16 games that he played 6 catches a game for 62 yards. Sign me up. 6 catches a game, 62 to 70 yards, and sprinkle in a couple of touchdowns in the red zone. You know, load management about the last couple of weeks of the season, and then playoff football. My tweet that I came up with earlier that I thought was pretty clever, he went from mayonnaise to ketchup.
I do like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I do like that.
That's great. Because who doesn't like that upgrade?
Yeah. I also saw one that said DeAndre Hopkins went to bed 1-5 and wakes up 6-0. I mean, could you imagine that too? Like going from a team like the Tennessee Titans that has the direction of a broken compass right now to coming into Kansas City and being on the premier organization in the NFL. Like, you got to think that's awesome this morning if you're DeAndre Hopkins and you're waking up going, I got traded where now? Let's go, baby. Let's get this. Like, so much fun for DeAndre Hopkins. And really, for me, so much fun for the guys inside that locker room.
I can't get over that Mac picture.
Oh, my God, the Mac pictures, right?
Somebody put a, Mac, I'll give it to you so you have it for your screensaver. Somebody says it needs to be a meme, and then somebody said it looks like he saw boobs for the first time.
This was better than that.
Yeah, so we started the show. Dusty and I knew that DeAndre Hopkins was a Chief. We started the show, and like 5 minutes before the show, we're getting all the information. The phone's blowing up and texts are going crazy. We're getting all the information. And Mac's wandering around, and I walked into the bathroom because we figured he went into the bathroom, and I was going to tell him. And I walked in, and I go, Mac! And then there was silence. I'm like, okay, I guess he's not here. Then all of a sudden, like minutes later, Sterling goes, not here. I'm like, oh, he goes, yeah, but somebody did come in and like bang onto all the doors and almost fell down trying to use the toilet. I'm like, well, that has to be Mac. And so Dusty's like, well, we better tell him. I'm like, no, let's keep it a secret, right? Let's not tell Mac and let's just do it live on the air. So we distracted him for like 3 minutes, which was not easy. And so we got him distracted for 3 minutes, and then we started the show thinking we were going to talk about whatever. And then we go, hey, DeAndre Hopkins is a Chief, and Mac just lost it on the air. It was great. It was so much fun. Like,
awesome.
I remember when we were pregnant with our first child and we were deciding whether or not to get the sex of the child ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
And I worked with somebody at the time who said to me, and this is really good advice, he said, most surprises in life are very negative. You never really get good surprises. Don't find out what your child is going to be ahead of time. Be surprised by that. And we're like, all right, that works for us, right? And so I feel like Mac had like one of those good surprise moments where it was like a genuine, like, this is awesome type of moment. And then he read the text line and killed his whole mood.
That's true. That was great. So glad you guys kept that secret. What a move.
Yeah, what a great move by Brett Veach. And so you give up a 5th-round pick conditional for DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to come in here and be, as kind of we've talked about, for the first hour of the show this morning, a reliable red zone target that is a veteran type of player, that is a nice compliment to Travis Kelce, that gives you options right now that you didn't have 6 hours ago or whatever it was, before this trade happened. You lose Rashee Rice, you lose Juju Smith-Schuster, most likely. Obviously, Hollywood Brown hasn't been part of the equation right now, but there is growing optimism from what I'm told that Hollywood Brown will be back in December. So a lot of folks inside the organization are pretty excited that he may come back to the organization. But DeAndre Hopkins gives you experience. He can play against zone. He's got great hands, as you heard Jay Binkley talk about, 3 drops in how many years or whatever it was for him. He's trusted by his quarterbacks, will be trusted by Patrick Mahomes, and he can be a really nice red zone weapon for you, right? Those are the things that you want out of a wide receiver. And for DeAndre Hopkins, he walks into that locker room now with street cred. It's not like these guys are looking at him going, no, who are you again? What did you do? You don't think Travis Kelce going to be fired up today? You don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to be fired up today? Andy Reid, all these guys all right, we got a guy that we know that we can rely on. And for the last year and a half, save Rashee Rice, but now he's injured, Patrick Mahomes really hasn't had that wide receiver he could rely on to get the ball to other than Travis Kelce. Now you've got a guy in DeAndre Hopkins who doesn't drop the football at all, can be relied upon, and I can imagine the sense of relief that has escaped from Patrick Mahomes, that sigh that you have, right? After a hard day and you sit down at night and you grab a beer and you're like, whew. I can imagine that's kind of that sigh of relief. Not that they've crowned themselves champions, but just Patrick knows, I got a guy. I got this guy I can rely on, and that's vital.
And I think that makes him better because he has a confidence factor.
Absolutely,
right?
It does. Hell yes.
We saw the offense kind of change last year when he got that confidence in Rashee Rice, and then they could kind of do all that. So, but no, I think it's interesting because right now we talk about the offense of the Chiefs. This offense obviously gets better with DeAndre Hopkins. How much better? I'm not here to decide that. I don't know if it makes it unbearable to you can't stop it no matter what, but it makes it better no matter what. And so far in this offense this year, or at least in the NFL, I want to get to Offensive Player of the Year awards in the NFL. Derrick Henry leads at +100, Saquon Barkley at +300, Justin Jefferson +850, Jamar Chase +950. So we ask you, who's been the Offensive Player of the Year so far for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, it's DeAndre Hopkins.
Easy.
Easy. No, but for me, it's Kareem Hunt right now. That's been the guy from a guy who wasn't here at the beginning of the year has now become, in my opinion, in the clubhouse right now, if there was an award for Offensive Player of the Year for the Chiefs. For me, it's Kareem Hunt right now. Obviously, we're only 7 weeks into this NFL season, and you hope that would change. But, hey, maybe it doesn't. Maybe Kareem still becomes that catalyst that the team uses. You can't have DeAndre Hopkins on every single play, so somebody else is going to have to pick up the freight a little bit. But, man, I think the addition of Kareem Hunt has been fantastic. And if you like that addition, then there's no reason not to like the DeAndre Hopkins addition right now.
I would go with the little bit of a cop-out, not one player, but that interior offensive line, that trio, kind of in tandem with you, Bob, helping out Kareem Hunt. They've been the most consistent piece of this offense, game in, game out. We don't really have to talk about them. Joe Tooney, Creed, Trey Smith, we know every week it's going to be pretty much impossible. They're an immovable force, and it's been massive for this team.
I'm going to go with Rashee Rice.
Oh.
Rashee Rice still leads the team in receiving yards. He's tied second on the team for touchdowns.
How long do you think he'll lead the team in receiving yards until? How many does he have, first of all?
228. I think Travis Kelce is the next one behind him. I can look it up real fast.
I would imagine. It has to be Travis, right?
You
hope.
He hasn't played since, he hasn't played since week 4.
But also, too, you could have Juju up there because of that one big game that he had, right?
How long will it take Hopkins to get 224 receiving yards as a Chief?
Week 1.
I'm going to say 4 weeks.
4 weeks? Yeah. I was going to say 3.
About 50 a game, roughly, just to be on the safe side.
Rashee Rice has 288 receiving yards, leads the team. Travis Kelce has 245, so he'll pass him this weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Unless DeAndre Hopkins steals all his targets into my fantasy team. I don't understand.
I'm glad he's just sitting on my bench. I picked him up 2 weeks ago.
DeAndre Hopkins?
When the name started getting funky, I was like, well, you never know.
Nice.
Might as well. So I picked him and Slayton up thinking something could happen.
Let me text my daughter right now who leads her fantasy league. Pick up DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay, there you go. Mac says to do so because you can hear Mac tonight. You're hosting After Hours from 6 to 9 p.m. So I'm assuming that you and Drew will have something to talk about tonight, and then you'll have your fantasy show on Sunday at 9 a.m. That's Mac. That's Bob. I'm Dusty. We'll get back into what DeAndre Hopkins. Plus, there was another receiver mentioned yesterday that a lot of people thought the same kind of conversation could be happening today about as well. It's 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
What the hell's wrong with your station?
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, if you're waking up this morning with some aches and pains, hopefully the DeAndre Hopkins news makes it a little bit better. But you know what's going to really make those aches and pains better is my friends over at QC Kinetics, because you don't have to keep living with that joint pain. Real lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. They're the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And at QC Kinetics, I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed right in your achy joint. Whether it's back pain or shoulder pain or knee pain, these are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. And they've been developed, these protocols, by medical professionals, and they're under the leadership of Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a former orthopedic surgeon and pioneer in clinical regenerative medicine. So if arthritis pain is keeping you from doing those things you love, like golf and pickleball and playing with the kids or even walking up the stairs, if you have pain in your knees, your hips, your back, or your shoulders, then you owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for 35 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years, and I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
No.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or lewisburgford.com.
My name is Michael, and I am a Centric graduate. I was burnt out at my sales job and just going through the motions. I decided it was finally time to stop putting it off and make a change in my life. Centric's hands-on training and fast program was the step that I needed. I graduated with the certifications and real-world experience to get a career in tech. I got a job and haven't looked back, only to a better future. Don't put it off any longer. Visit Centric.com to take control of your future. That's Centric.com.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
Shut the front door.
winning,
No, seriously. Shut the front door. We own this house now.
but you actually need to say,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
that's right, the local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members save more on select 1.5 pint or 1 quart mums. Get 5 for just $10. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. See Lowes.com/rebates for details.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Missouri side 35 southbound, pretty heavy from Missouri 152 all the way down towards 435. There's an accident past Pleasant Valley Road, blocking the right lane. Kansas side 35 southbound slows past South 7th Street, stays heavy down to Mission with an accident. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Brett Veach's dirty little secret was this the Andre Hopkins move, huh?
Do you think they're done?
I don't know. I mean, there's only so much you can go out there and, give away, for players and whatnot. Done meaning like a name that you're going to get excited about. I think maybe 50-50. Depends on, what presents itself. If the Rams continue to get desperate and whatnot, they will potentially make a move. Just proof that kids never listen to you no matter what you tell them. I texted my daughter who's leading her fantasy league. I said, go pick up DeAndre Hopkins. Her response, he doesn't get many points. So like kids will fight you on anything. It doesn't matter. Eat your vegetables. Okay, fine. Pick up DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't get many points. I said, he now has Mahomes throwing to him. And I said, I'll bet you Canes that he has a touchdown on Sunday.
Ooh. I like that little friendly wager.
Do you get the coleslaw with your Canes?
The kids do, yeah. Yeah,
I build a sandwich.
Yeah.
Sub a coleslaw, extra piece of bread.
See, the extra toast at Canes is like the ultimate thing. So again, last night at the tennis banquet, everybody was talking about Coach Reynolds taking them to Chick-fil-A after Chick-fil-A and Canes. That's how you win over the kids today. It's either Chick-fil-A or Canes, and they're putty in your hand. So I just bet my daughter that DeAndre Hopkins will score a touchdown this week. Are you taking that prop bet? DeAndre Hopkins getting into the end zone. They want him for red zone purposes, folks. Are you going to take DeAndre Hopkins? I think DeAndre Hopkins gets a touchdown against the Raiders this weekend. That's Chiefs-like, too. That's how they do it. And also, Binkley texted in about the number of catches that DeAndre Hopkins has had in a row and how many straight games. Did you know Travis Kelce's on that list as well? Kelce has a catch in 164 straight games. D-Hop, 168, the two longest streaks in the NFL.
That's cool.
Breaking news. DeAndre Hopkins traded from Tennessee to Kansas City. I've been keeping my eye on TV, Twitter. Every outlet is just literally talking about this.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
Good Morning Football says wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins of the Chiefs reminds us of, I don't know what it reminds me of, to give it a comparison of a trade in sports. I don't want to say it's the Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors.
No,
Kevin Durant,
DeAndre Hopkins is a winner.
That would have been the case if this happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I would have compared it to that. I'd have comped it to that because he would have probably won 2 Super Bowls, which Durant won 2 titles, and he was still kind of like feared as Kevin Durant.
Is this for local purposes adding Ben Zobrist?
That's good. They didn't have a injury really with Ben Zobrist, but it was just an addition to give you more solidification towards like being that team.
Yeah,
which that's what we talked about in our poll today.
He kind of galvanized that team, and you know, I'll never let Josh live it down where he said we don't really need Ben Zobrist. He's a luxury addition, right? And sure enough, we needed Ben Zobrist, right?
Yeah.
So do you consider DeAndre Hopkins kind of in that category of you needed DeAndre Hopkins though? You didn't at the time you made the trade. Did you need Ben Zobrist? You could probably have gotten by, but did he make a difference? Yeah. This time, I think you need DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he's going to make a difference. Maybe Johnny Cueto into that level because you needed a starting pitcher at the time, and so you went out and got Johnny Cueto. Maybe he's more in kind of that category and reminds you of that. But, I mean, who's upset today when the team you love is making moves to get better when they're 6-0 and the only undefeated team in the NFL? Like, keep it in perspective, folks, what we got going on here right now. This ain't sitting back and going, hey, I tell you what, we got Bailey Zappi coming up. We got an opportunity to go out and get better. They went and got better, and they got DeAndre Hopkins. They cleared that roster space with Bailey Zappi going to Cleveland.
Every Wednesday we do our Wednesday poll question on 96.5 The Fan or at The Fan 965 on X. Get ready to be disappointed, Bob. We asked the people, does the DeAndre Hopkins acquisition solidify the three-peat, yes or no? 52% of people said yes.
Okay.
48% of people have clicked no. That's 454 votes. That, of course, coming with the DeAndre Hopkins acquisition to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5th round. That could be a 4th. As no doubt about it, the Kansas City Chiefs, they got better today.
Yeah.
Right? They've lost 3 wide receivers, 2 of which I don't know if we see again the rest of the year. I know there's optimism that Hollywood Brown will come back.
Yep.
Has a chance to play maybe
December.
Yeah, late December, early January. So, again, that's what? Pittsburgh, Broncos, let him get his, tires, so get the tread kind of worn off the little tires that have been out for all year. And then, who knows? You get into the playoffs and you've got DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce, and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, it's a nice
Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice pack. Oh, and by the way, we got a good defense. I don't know if anybody's checked lately. Like, this defense doesn't let anybody score on them. But, we bring up that question. My buddy Jim texted me yesterday about, this wide receiver stuff. And he said, and I don't know if you guys necessarily agree with it, they're Super Bowl ready if they find a wide receiver. This makes them more of a threat for a 6-0 team, right? But, like, is this the final piece to that puzzle and keeping it all together? I think it adds a lot. And look, are they done, Dusty? I don't know if they're done, but they got better and they made an addition and people wanted an addition. They went out there, they tickled our fancy, they gave us the wide receiver, and I think it's going to be a very good one. Now, yesterday there was a lot of this Cooper Kupp stuff going on yesterday, right? And I just kind of want to lay out what went on yesterday from sources that I spoke to that under the condition of anonymity because the situation is dire, whatever the hell they say. So I was talking to people yesterday about Cooper Kupp, and first and foremost, I learned yesterday that, like, this situation, this is the Rams trying to trade Cooper Kupp. He's got a $20 million contract due to him next year. They want to get rid of that contract. They're not interested in paying Cooper Kupp that kind of money, and I think he's had like 5 broken ankles, 2 broken tibias, and a busted up knee or whatever. So he's an injured guy they're trying to get rid of, and they wanted like a 2nd-round pick in return. Everybody was laughing at the Rams as they were trying to peddle this trade yesterday. But as of yesterday evening, I was told the Rams and Chiefs haven't even had a conversation about Cooper Kupp. Again, the Rams are putting this out there. It appears that they want to get out of that contract. But here's what was holding back the Chiefs from potentially going out and getting Cooper Kupp. Number one, the money, the $20 million that was out there. They just were not interested in paying that kind of money. And with a high pick that they had to give up, potentially a 2nd-round pick, the Chiefs were not willing to part with a 2nd-round pick to go get Cooper Kupp. They parted with a 5th-round pick and owed no money to DeAndre Hopkins after this season. So on the surface, a 5th-round pick and no money due after this season is a major win over a 2nd-round pick and owing $20 million to a wide receiver. Again, as we talked about, they're anticipating, and there's very much high optimism right now that Hollywood Brown will be back in December. The other reason you don't go all in on a Cooper Kupp type of trade is because what's coming up this offseason. Every move you do affects a potential move down the line. No matter who it is, no matter what player, everything is interconnected like the central nervous system. There's a lot of guys on this team right now that are due dough in the offseason. Trey, Bolton, Justin Reed, all free agents going into this offseason. McDuffie and Karlaftis now are eligible after the season going into their fourth year to negotiate new contracts. The Chiefs want to keep both of those guys. So those are 5 guys right there right now. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent on current guys in your organization. If you were to bring in Cooper Kupp and then owe him that $20 million next year, that's less money than you can pay your guys. And honestly, I'd rather have Trey signed. I'd rather have Bolton signed. I'd rather have Reed signed. I'd rather McDuffie and Karlaftis have extensions than to give money to Cooper Kupp, who's an injured wide receiver right now. Right. And the other thing is, with all of those guys coming due on contracts, that's going to be your free agent class for the Chiefs this offseason. So the draft is going to be used in lieu of, if you will, of free agency this year. So you didn't want to give up a second-round pick when you're not going to be that active in the free agent market because you're signing your own guys. You need these draft picks, A, to come in and produce, obviously. You've been really good at the draft. But also, you draft your guys, they're a lot cheaper than going out there and spending that money on the open market. And Brett Veach is a warrior with draft picks. Like, arm this guy with draft picks and let him go and see what happens. And I'm betting on Brett Veach. And so they just didn't want to give up a premium pick and $20 million for Cooper Kupp when they know they have all of these guys coming due on contract. And draft picks are so valuable to this organization and probably more valuable to the Chiefs than anywhere else because they actually get good players with their draft picks.
I think the other thing that's interesting, too, is that out of those 5 guys, 3 of those guys are probably getting signed. And I think Brett Veach is already drafted for the future with some of those positions. I think McDuffie's a lock to get signed. I think Trey Smith is a lock to get signed. And then you can talk probably Karlaftis to me about getting signed. I think those are your 3 locks. I think Justin Reed's replacement is Cook. I think that's where he was drafted for, and I think that's just the business part of it. I think Reed's a great Chief. I think he's had a big pick this last weekend, but that's the same route they did with Tyrann Mathieu.
Dude, they've done this route numerous times with defensive backs.
And I think Nick Bolton I think it's in question. Do I think he's an absolute monster as a captain of this defense? Absolutely. But his position is not one that you pay a lot of money for. And if he wants a lot of money, someone else is going to have to shovel it out. The other thing that I would also add to that when you talk about a receiver and you talk about money is the Rashee Rice contract's going to come up eventually. Now, I don't know how expensive it's going to be due to maybe a suspension, due to missing basically an entire year.
We may not see Rashee Rice until like a year from now,
right.
With the suspension and everything.
So the strength he would have if he were to have that year that he was projected to have this year is gone due to injury. But if you also think Rashee Rice could go down to be the best receiver that the Chiefs have had outside of Tyreek Hill, you would have to think back in your mind that he's also going to get a contract eventually one day as well.
What is this, year 2 for Rashee Rice?
Year 2.
So he's got
5.
No, he was a second-round pick.
So he's got 4
He's only got 4, so he's only got 2 more years after this.
Right.
So you start to earmark that money. But that's how organizations work,
right.
And,
I think that they do see him being here, and maybe they can do what they did to Tyreek Hill to Rashee Rice, which is, hey, we'll give you a 2-year extension that pays you very handsomely, but we're not going to give you that 5-year.
Basically, you're giving roster bonuses is what they did for Tyreek Hill. Every year that he was on the roster, here's a $20 million check.
Right.
No guaranteed money beginning tomorrow, but you got your $20 million. And I don't think you need to go down that route with Rashee Rice just yet. I think hopefully he's learned and, he stays, in the good graces off the field, and then you can give him that nice contract that I think he's going to deserve. And there's no guarantees that this guy's going to be suspended, right? I mean, the court date's still not till December, so we still don't know what's going to happen. I just farcical, if we can, for a second.
Yeah,
I could see Rashee Rice, going to the court date, getting that all taken care of, and then the NFL suspending Rashee Rice while injured, and then everybody else reacting and losing their minds. You're suspending him when he's injured. The league is geared for the Chiefs. But that's what I would do if I was Roger Goodell. Yeah, you're injured. Count these as suspended games.
Right. In case you missed it, DeAndre Hopkins has been acquired by the Kansas City Chiefs. This was Ian Rappaport's report on it this morning on the NFL Network.
It has been a long rumor deal that now is happening. Sources say DeAndre Hopkins, the star receiver for the Tennessee Titans, is in the process of being traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The champs continue to load up. Another day, another big-time receiver moves. It has certainly been a season full of them. We've seen Devontae Adams. We've seen Amari Cooper. Now DeAndre Hopkins is the latest. My understanding is this is in exchange for a 5th rounder that could become a 4th rounder. The two sides are still going back and forth now on salary. My understanding is the Titans are going to base some of DeAndre Hopkins' base salary for this year just to make it easier for the Chiefs to withstand the salary. But this trade is expected to happen. So KC has lost Hollywood Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster not going to play this week. But DeAndre Hopkins is expected to be there. You're right. This has been a long rumored trade. But listen to how fast it happened. It has been nothing but rumors till about, I would say, midnight last night, Kansas City time. The two sides got together. They kind of threw hypotheticals back and forth. By about 5 or 6 in the morning, today it became clear that a deal would happen, expected to be finalized soon. D-Hop going to join the Chiefs.
So that's Ian Rappaport giving you the full report on DeAndre Hopkins going to Kansas City. Obviously, we can get into Max Pack right now. I don't know if your bottom feeders or Max Pack or anything like that has Tennessee in it, but I'd assume Tennessee has gotten worse.
I think they just did,
loss
right?
of that. So, Mac, why don't we do your pack here at 7:32 on 96.5 The Fan?
It's time for Max Pack.
I think we know who number 1 is.
Oh, yeah, baby. Woo! Another week, another number 1 spot. And this time we don't have to have the text, but what about the offense? Where have the points been? This team isn't as fun to watch anymore. Oh, shut up. It's all okay now because you've got DeAndre Hopkins. You've got a guy, Dusty mentioned it earlier. Imagine Juju when his knee worked. Imagine Rashee Rice when he was healthy. This is what DeAndre Hopkins brings to the table. They have the best defense. They have the best coach. They have the best quarterback. They have the best interior offensive line. They have the best defensive coordinator. They have the best tight end. And now they're going to have one of the best wide receivers in football. That's right. He's still a top 20 guy. Hopkins, Chiefs, number 1. Number 2. Man, you heard Bob talk about it earlier. We may play the audio later from Mike Greenberg. Man, those Ravens are scary. They can't lose, right, Bob? They can't lose with Derrick Henry. That's what I heard this week, right?
They started 0-2 with Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah, so maybe they can lose.
The week-to-week nature and the amnesia that this league creates is just bizarre.
We'll play that Greenberg audio later.
Are we going to get to the booger eating stuff, too? Because Pat McAfee legitimately asked Aaron Rodgers if he eats his boogers.
We have got that as well.
Hell of a tease.
Baltimore Ravens are still a fantastic team, but that defense is not what it was last season. Mike McDonald's gone. They've lost a few pieces.
Patrick Queen,
being one of those major pieces. You can score on that team. The Ravens put up over 30, and that was without Mike Evans, and the Chiefs now have an offense to destroy that Ravens defense. The Detroit Lions, even without Aiden Hutchinson, we saw what that team can do still on the defense. They're a well-rounded machine. They have the best running back duo in football. They've got amazing cavalcade of weapons, and Jared Goff, it used to be, oh, there's Goff. He's holding the ball for an extra second. Well, what's the throw going to be? And it's a pick. That's not the case anymore. I mean, it's just multiple games where he starts 18 for 18. He's a beast. He's a top 10 quarterback.
So you're a golfer now. Look at you.
He's been a top 10 quarterback.
You want to tee off this weekend?
The jump's not going to wake. The jump's not going to happen. So, Packers at number 4. Jordan Love.
So number 1, Chiefs. Number 2, Ravens. Number 3, Lions. Number 4, Green Bay.
Green Bay, yep, another well-rounded team, and I think they're kind of coming into their own defensively, and this is another team that can run the ball on you when they're up. These are 4 teams. These top 4 teams all have one thing in common. They can run the ball. The 5th team has
Amazing how this league has changed now back to a power running team.
It's crazy. It's great. You got to be able to pass, but when you're up, you want to be able to chew that clock. All 4 of those teams can do it. The one team that I think has the capabilities to do that, but they're going to need their running back healthy. That's the Buffalo Bills at number 5. They need James Cook to stay healthy with that turf toe. If he is not there and that backfield is just Josh Allen doing it all by himself, it's a fun playoff team. Josh Allen may get his MVP, but they're not going to hoist that Lombardi trophy if they don't have James Cook. That defense getting better, and Amari Cooper getting in the end zone on his first week. That's a little shade of what we'll see with Hopkins in the end zone this weekend.
That's right. I'm telling you, I'm cashing in on that Canes bet with my daughter right now.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, baby.
DeAndre Hopkins is scoring a touchdown this weekend.
So Minnesota falls out of the top 5 for Max Pack.
They do.
Okay.
All right.
They do.
Kansas City,
6.
Baltimore, Detroit, Green Bay, Buffalo. That's Max Pack. You know how we do it. We go from the top to the bottom. It's Bob's Bottom Feeders at this point.
Yeah, and in no particular order, I had to put the Tennessee Titans on the list, but everybody else that I have on the list is still now worthy of being on the list. So I guess honorable mention this week, and Bob's Bottom Feeders are the Tennessee Titans and the quarterback who puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So he comes in very low on that list at number 32A, I guess you could say. Let's look at the other bottom feeders. Cleveland comes in on my Bob's Bottom Feeders list. And I read a tweet this morning from our sister station in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski, whatever, I can't coach anymore, Ski. He was coach of the year in January. They said it looks like he's aged 25 years. Jameis Winston is now the starting quarterback, which is actually an improvement in Cleveland, but still at 1-6 or whatever they are. They're on the bottom feeders list. The Jets make the bottom feeders. Your quarterback eats boogers. And if you're a grown man in your 40s and you're still munching on boogers on the sidelines, can't imagine that you got much more in the tank. So the Jets are on that list. Fired their coach, brought in the new wide receiver, quarterback ate boogers. The Jets are on that list. The New England Patriots come in on this list. The Jets and the Patriots continually getting called out by Bill Belichick on any platform that anybody gives them. So I do enjoy that, but the Patriots stink. They're on the list. Carolina Panthers are on the bottom feeders list this week as well. Did you see Andy Dalton got into a car accident yesterday?
Yeah, he's okay, right?
Hopefully he's okay, but still is getting treatment and whatnot from the team. He should be okay, but got into a car accident yesterday. Panthers are on that list. And then I got to put the Giants on that list as well. Daniel Jones has not led a touchdown drive at MetLife Stadium since before Mac was born. It's been like 685 days since he's last led a touchdown drive in his own stadium. Jeez. So the Giants make Bob's Bottom Feeders as well. Booger eaters, non-touchdown drivers, the Panthers, the Patriots, and Kevin, I can't coach here anymore, Ski, all make the list.
And the Titans is an honorable mention.
And the Titans are an honorable mention.
Not a bad bottom feeder. 2, 2, and 5 teams. Everybody else with just one win. So.
Anybody else that I should have had on that bottom feeders list?
The only
Maybe
team,
the Saints.
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
Maybe the Rams.
Rams could be. They're trying to trade Cooper Kupp. So
Jags.
They got that win over the Patriots,
You're right.
salvaged a little bit this week. You know, people are starting to talk about momentum now, coming back from across the pond.
Maybe the
Nobody's
Raiders.
talking about that, but
Maybe the Raiders, maybe the Dolphins.
yeah, Dolphins, Raiders could be on that. There's a lot of bad teams when you start to think about it, right?
Dolphins, what, did they end up beating the Colts this weekend?
They did 16-10.
Yeah.
Or no.
No,
they lost
won.
16-10.
Yeah, I was just saying because I saw a
game.
controversial video from their sidelines where Waddle, Tyreek, and Mike McDaniel were all laughing and having a good time, losing 16-10 with 30 seconds left.
So fun.
As a fan, is there anything that pisses you off more than the laughing on the sidelines during a loss? You don't know what it is. They maybe were laughing at Aaron Rodgers eating his boogers, but they're laughing, and it's a bad look, right? People get so mad when you see laughing on the sidelines.
Am I fair to say that the Tua thing kind of upsets me?
That's fine. I'm with you, too. We probably would have talked more about that today. I mean,
Yeah,
not acquired
kinda got flooded
DeAndre
out of
Hopkins, but
That's how breaking news works. It takes your entire rundown you worked so hard on the night before and just wipes it out.
Yeah. But, the Tua thing is interesting, right? Like, you're on your own now, pal.
Like, he
I don't know what else to say.
refuses to wear the Guardians cap. Press conferences.
Well, a lot of people in Cleveland refused to wear the Guardians cap. Did you see the crowd? Most of them were still wearing the old Indians logo.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
It's true. Look at the crowd.
And, then addressing the media is like, I know this is what I want to do. I don't need your guys' sympathy. And it's like, okay, man. Well, like,
you ain't got my sympathy anymore. Like, you're on your own now.
I'm not out here. I want to be very freaking clear. I'm not out here saying I hope he gets another one. I'm saying if he does, I don't know if I'll have the same feelings I had from before. I'm just worried about what happens when that does happen. If he's not taking, like, for instance, if I were to tear my ACL, I don't care if it's not fashionable. I'd wear like a brace if I played like active sports because I don't want to tear it again. This guy's had 4 concussions, and he comes out and just like, hey, I'm gonna and look, do your life. I'm not activating that. I'm just saying, like, don't feel bad when we're not all like, oh man, again.
Yeah.
I just think that I think the NFL should just be like, hey, you have to wear a Guardian cap. Like, you have to.
Yeah, I don't understand why the NFL...
Because they don't care.
I know, but that's the myth. Like, is there a bigger myth out there?
No, if Roger Goodell really cared, he'd have said, you know what, you're on the commissioner's exempt list for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But I didn't do any like violence or anything like that. I don't care. You're not playing football.
You're not playing football. You're
You
a
can play
detriment to
next
the
year.
league if you get another concussion.
I mean, it's terrible for business. B, it's terrible for his own health. And C, it's like nobody sees
And once you got
obvious.
past A, nobody cares in the NFL about the rest. It's terrible for business. If something does happen to this guy on the field, it's just, I mean,
I remember when I was a kid, my mom would say you can wear a helmet when you wear your bike. If not, you don't need to ride your bike. And I'd be like, oh, I want to wear my helmet. It's like, well, then you don't get to ride your bike. It's like,
yeah, we were in that generation of if you wore a helmet, you got made fun of.
Yeah.
But then you learn, right?
Yeah.
You've got things that can protect you.
I was also 5. So I wasn't like 12 riding my bike. It was like from 5 to 7. It was like you're rocking that lid when you're on those two
Hell
wheels.
yeah, you are.
Coming up on the other side, there's a story that Paul George and the New Heights guy have all sort of talked about, and it kind of hits home for me. It gets a little funny on the other side here. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're looking for that perfect real estate agent. I've got the answer for you. It is my friend Dawn Sharp, because selling your home on your own isn't easy, especially since you'll be busy moving into a new house. How are you going to get that top dollar on your current home? How do you know your home is getting seen by as many buyers as possible? Well, with so much on your plate, you need the agent more Kansas City homeowners trust, and that's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team. The Sharp Homes team does all the heavy lifting for you to make sure that your home sells fast and for the most money. With their extensive marketing system, they know how to drive the price of your home, and you could be walking away with more money than you ever expected. Dawn and her team will bring you the most buyers. That's why, on average, they sell a home every 72 hours. And in the last year alone, they sold over 120 homes, when the average agent sells 4 homes per year. The Sharp Homes team can also give you options. If you want to skip showings and open houses and go straight to sold, well, contact them to discuss their instant offer program. In fact, contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. You can Google them, Sharp Homes team, and you can see over 200 5-star Google and Zillow reviews, or just visit them at homesforsaleInKC.com. That's homesforsaleInKC.com, and start packing.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best that you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race, and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not, because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're simply suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men as we age. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's Cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
In business, success is never by chance. You know that better than anyone. So why settle for a marketing agency that gambles with your money? At Scale Marketing, we've been in your shoes. Our founders successfully owned and operated businesses long before becoming marketers. They understand the business of, well, business. We specialize in performance marketing for mid-sized B2C companies with teams of over 100 people, from traditional and digital marketing to media buying, data science, and creative production. Scale Marketing manages it all. Our tailored strategies drive measurable growth, turning your challenges into opportunities. Imagine your company leading the market, not just participating in it. That's what we do at Scale Marketing. Don't let your business growth plateau or underperform. Scale Marketing will pinpoint exactly what you need to focus on, ensuring your success isn't left to chance. Take your business to the next level with Scale Marketing. Visit scalemarketing.com today. That's scalemarketing.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bowling Warehouse has taken over KC with a mashup of football, bowling, drinks, and fun. And with 3 15-foot televisions in the hottest bar in town, there's absolutely no better place for watch parties, get-togethers, and happy hours. And what could be better than splashing down pins at your next business event or private party? Plus, Bowling Warehouse KC is convenient for everyone off 435 and State Line. Whether it's a fun night out or a way for your organization to unwind, make your reservation now at FollingWarehouseKC.com. It's time to fool around and find out.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Missouri side, Grand Valley into Blue Springs, 70 westbound, pretty heavy with an accident before 7 Highway. On the Kansas side, 635 southbound past I-70. That wreck keeps things stacked up from Leavenworth Road. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You know, Dusty, I wanted to bring up a Chris Jones tweet this morning, and, you know, we had some, like, negative, trolls on the text line this morning about the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins, in case you're just tuning in, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things we said is that the locker room's going to be excited about this.
And what did Chris Jones say?
Chris Jones just quote tweeted the announcement and goes, "Let's go!" Yeah. Right there shows you how impactful this move is inside that locker room. And I go back to, the Royals, because they were the first group that, we saw do stuff like this and make trades, the Ben Zobrist and the Johnny Cueto and moves of that nature. And I remember talking to some of those guys, and they'll probably tell you the same story, over the years later now, is that when they made those moves, that was an infusion inside that clubhouse and inside that locker room of enthusiasm, gives them that second breath to get ready for kind of that stretch run of the season. And, this is our last game, right? I think in October, right? The last game in October. And then the next game we play is in November, when we take on that Monday night game. So this is the last game, and now we're starting to get towards that middle part, the dog days of summer, if you will, of the NFL season, where you're starting to see a separation of the good teams and the bad teams, and people are kind of formulating where they are. You add a name brand player like DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs mix, and that adds an infusion of excitement and energy. And yes, let's go. This organization believes in us. And the Royals got a huge bounce from that, because they looked around, they went, Dayton and company, man, they believe in us. All right, let's go. We can do this. And that's what this kind of move for DeAndre Hopkins does. It shows that ownership and management believes in these guys, and they're willing to give them another piece to make sure they meet that goal. And every player walking into that facility today is going to have a bounce in their step and be excited, because they know that this organization went out and just made them better in the last 5 hours.
Speaking of people walking into facilities, Paul Pierce had a story on his podcast. And he wants media members banned from the locker rooms. He claims that reporters stare at penis too much.
They don't.
Well, that's what he says.
Paul George, right?
Yeah, Paul George. Sorry, Paul George.
Oh, Paul George. Well, either
Paul
way.
George.
Either way. Reporters are not in there grazing, Paul.
And I feel slightly attacked. And the New Heights guys just coincidentally last week did a podcast where Jason Kelsey brought this up.
Locker room media policy. The NFLPA put out a statement about moving media interviews out of the locker rooms. Torrey Smith tweeted, my good friend Torrey Smith, former teammate, Super Bowl champion, and Torrey.
Way to speak up for the league, man.
Torrey Smith, if only y'all knew how awkward some of the male reporters act. Straight meat watchers. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little weird that people are in there, but I don't mind. I never minded it.
You never minded.
Listen, somebody wants my is low on the totem pole. I'm not impressing anybody or doing anything. If you want to look at it, go for it. Be my guest. It's not gonna impress you.
It's gonna make some babies, man. That's what it's gonna do.
It's efficient. It gets the job done. I don't know. I've never cared. I've never thought about it, and I've never noticed anybody staring at it.
We've been in locker rooms our entire lives.
I still remember going into the YMCA in Cleveland Heights and seeing an old man's balls drag along a sauna.
Yeah. Who hasn't, right?
Killed Travis right there.
Which is risky in two ways, man. You can splinter those things.
Yeah.
You can sear those things.
Hey. You know how hard it is not to look at an old man's balls in a sauna? You can't not look at those. And there's nothing sexual about it, Tori.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, how the hell are those things hanging that low?
It's unbelievable.
I don't think this is the problem that it's being made out to be.
It's so funny, though.
I really honestly think guys just don't want to be interviewed in the locker room.
You said it's so
and
funny,
a lot of
though.
people are crying wolf right now to just try and get the reporters out of the locker room. It's so easy to just not show your to everybody. Put a towel on or go into the bathroom that they aren't in. Like, they're not in the showers. Like, hey, how'd you catch that ball? Like, you can definitely not show your if you don't want to, guys.
100% on everything except for people like the Paul George stuff. Like nobody's in there just looking. I mean, come on.
I mean, I've been caught.
It happens. Like you're moving your head around. All of a sudden, you're like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." You know, like
I wasn't trying to look. The man was massive. I was in the locker room as a rookie reporter, and Steven Surt and I were going there to get audio from Alex Smith.
Did he have a towel on, this gentleman?
He did, on his shoulder.
Yeah, but see, that's on you. That's not your fault because you turned your head. If you cared about people looking at you, put a towel on.
Yeah.
Like those old guys at the gym. It's just such a dead-on story.
I mean, I literally we're in there. Alex Smith, talking. We have our cell phone right up next to him. And you're kind of looking around. Chiefs locker room. Their shower is somehow right in the middle of the room. Their shower room, and then here comes a defensive lineman, I'll say that. Big man, 6'6", 300, towel on his shoulder, not even dried off. And my eyes went south and immediately went back up north, and I made direct eye contact with that man, and I knew at that very moment I'd been caught.
But you weren't. It wasn't like you were in there maliciously doing it. You moved your head around.
Oh, I mean, I was definitely on a swivel.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't on a swivel for meat.
No.
I wasn't like, who's the biggest?
Like that. That's the other thing about reporters, though. That's interesting. Ryan Lilja told me this story one time. He goes, "You know what I hate about you?" And I'm like, "Geez, Ryan." He's talking about reporters. He goes, "You guys are standing here talking to a player, and not one person is paying attention to anything we're saying. Everybody's looking around for who's next, right? Where's the next guy? Who's next? Who's next?" He goes, "Why are you talking to me if you're not paying attention to a damn thing I'm saying?" So you broke the cardinal sin, which I didn't really think about, at that time. But when Lil just said it coming from the other side, I'm like, that's really good perspective. And so now if I'm talking to somebody in that kind of situation, which is very few and far between anymore, I do try to make eye contact and focus on them because obviously it rubs the players the wrong way. If you're talking to somebody and you're not caring what they have to say and you're wandering around. So Dusty was doing what normal reporters do. You wander your head around at times. You just happen to look left, and you're like, whoa, sorry, man.
And to be fair, that was the first time I'd ever been in the Chiefs locker room at their practice facility.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like one of those things like, oh, man, I've always heard about it. Like, oh, my God.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God, I'm sorry. But some guys do it on purpose. There was a guy years ago, and I'm not going to say who it was, but there was a guy years ago who purposely would walk naked like behind where reporters were talking.
We had a high school coach that did that.
So he would be on camera and ruin shots and things like that. And we're like, come on, man. Like, why are you doing that? You're doing it on purpose. Right. And so this whole banning the media from the locker room, just get over yourself, Paul George. Nobody's in there checking you out.
And if they are, they're impressed. From the 660 to give you some insight about how our job works, it says, give these guys some damn privacy and stay out of the locker room. You can wait 30 minutes for an interview. it's their team officials that give us the option to do that. We don't get an option. It's, hey, the locker room's open until noon.
Right.
You got 10 minutes to get any player you want for your story this weekend. They will not go get an athlete and bring them out. When they have somebody out, it is at a podium, and those people are already selected prior to that day starting. It'll literally be 8 o'clock in the morning. A piece of paper on the podium will say, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Locker room opens up at 11:50. You have 10 minutes.
Right.
That's how it works.
It.
We don't have a choice. We don't have, and if somebody who does a news story, whether that would be, Neil Jones or whether that's going to be Mackenzie Nelson, whoever that may be, they've got 10 minutes to go find their story and hope to think at God that Justin Reed's the one they want to talk to because he's got something going on for, a charity of his. And they're like, I just need 5 minutes of Justin Reed. Okay, here you go. Here's the locker room. This is your chance. You don't get we'll pull him out for you personally, just for you. They don't do that.
No, it doesn't work that way.
So I wish we could. Trust me, I'd wait an hour.
Josh has said for years, too,
Yeah.
he goes, I'm tired of the locker room thing. Just bring everybody outside. But you know what kind of commotion, you know how much easier it is for guys to do their job where you just open the locker room and you just go up to players, because at that point in time, now you're asking guys to get dressed, come outside. They're going to tell you no.
Yeah.
So you as the fan are going to get less coverage of the players and what they have to say after a game if they do it that way. You go into a locker room, you just start talking to guys and getting the information that way. That's the way it works. I've had some of my best conversations with players inside the locker room after games or after practice.
And most of them are off the record.
99% of them are off the record, right? Like all of the good stuff comes, off the record, and the relationships form to give you the ability then to contact them when breaking news happens at 5 a.m. You have sources around the league that you can go to, and so I'm not into this whole let's shut down the media, because at the end of the day, and this is just an ignorant comment from Paul George. The media pays your salary, bro.
Somebody asked, maybe a dumb question, are female reporters allowed in? Of course. Yes. I've been shoulder to shoulder with Danny Welniak and Mackenzie Nelson, Karen Kornacki, bless her heart for what she's probably seen. But yeah, that's the thing. Look, I mean, I would much rather them come out of the locker room. Here's the other thing, too. Post-game, there's a door that Chiefs players know how to get away. They know how to get away from you.
And everything.
So not everybody sticks around.
I'm still waiting for Kendrick Lewis after that Colts game, okay? With Louis Vuitton luggage was taken out by PR.
That's right.
Because they didn't want to talk to me after they blew that 28-point lead in Indianapolis, and Danny and Carrington and I almost died driving back. And Kendrick Lewis couldn't talk?
That's right.
That guy sucks.
And some guys just know how to get around it. So,
well, Kendrick Lewis couldn't cover anybody, but he sure got away from me.
Yeah.
And I stood there and waited. Like, they escorted me out because that's how long I was there waiting for that guy.
We get right back into the news of the day that was DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5. The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5. The Fan.
All right, my friends, you don't have to keep living with that arthritis pain. I've got the solution for you. You don't need to wake up every morning and say, oh, I can't do anything today. My joints hurt. Because real, lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed right in your achy joint. Whether it's back pain or shoulder pain or knee pain, these are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. And it's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. Is arthritis pain keeping you from doing those things you love, whether it's golf or playing with the kids or, I don't know, even walking up the stairs at night to go to bed? If you have that pain in your knees, the hips, the back, or your shoulders, then you owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
When it comes to beef, nothing tops world-class, highly marbled Wagyu. Booth Creek Wagyu's Overland Park Meat Market is ready to elevate your beef. Their farm-to-fork commitment brings this intensely rich and flavorful beef from the tall grass prairies north of Manhattan, Kansas, directly to your table. Stop into the store to see what our customers are calling the jewelry store of beef and taste the difference. Our in-store experts are sampling freshly seared Wagyu 7 days a week. Located in the shops at Deer Creek Woods at 135th and Metcalf.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
From maintenance to emergency repairs, Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling will keep you warm when it matters most. Contact us today and stay cozy all season long. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
This report is brought to you by Flying H Drag Strip. Drag racing is back in Kansas City. FlyingHDragStrip.com. Kansas City Drag Racing is back. Join us for October at Flying H Drag Strip, October 25th and 26th, featuring pro mod cars, top dragsters, and quarter-mile drag racing. Plus, Night of Heroes, free entry for veterans with military ID. Get tickets now at FlyingHDragStrip.com. A real horsepower hangout.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
On the Kansas side, 635 southbound, very heavy from Leavenworth Road all the way down past I-70 with an accident. There's another problem in the backup around State Avenue that's keeping things heavy as well. Heading into downtown, 670 eastbound, solid from the state line over past 35. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
What's up? It's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday during the season with C-Dot right here on your home of the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
DeAndre Hopkins tweeted back on February 13th, 2023. Pretty significant date.
February what?
13th, 2023.
Okay. That's the day the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Patrick Mahomes is different. Eyes wide open.
So yeah, now you get to see how different he is. Mm-hmm. You go from Kyler Murray to Will Levis to Patrick Mahomes. Who did he have down in Houston for a while there?
Will Levis.
No, in Houston.
Ryan. Oh, he had
Deshaun, right?
Yeah, for a while. Yep. And then,
if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, is their last playoff game that 24-point loss to the Chiefs, or that 24-point lead that they blew? Is that their last playoff game in Houston with DeAndre Hopkins and those guys? I saw 2019 he was in the postseason. Was that their last game when they blew that lead? It may have been, or maybe they made the playoffs the year after. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But DeAndre Hopkins is here. That's the good news. The Chiefs went out, made a move. Everybody wanted them to make a move, and they did. They made a move, and they got better. And the locker room's going to be excited. The front office is going to be excited. Patrick Mahomes is going to be excited. You now have a reliable wide receiver for the first time, basically, in 2 years that you can 100% count on. DeAndre Hopkins doesn't drop the football. DeAndre Hopkins is big inside the red zone, and he's a reliable receiver that Patrick Mahomes can look at and go, I got you, you got me, let's go. Take some pressure off of 87 as well. Take some pressure off that running game a little bit. Gives you another target that you can go to. There are no negatives about this move. This is a very nice move for Kansas City.
It has been a long rumor deal that now is happening. Sources say DeAndre Hopkins, the star receiver for the Tennessee Titans, is in the process of being traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The champs continue to load up. Another day, another big-time receiver moves. It has certainly been a season full of them. We've seen Devontae Adams. We've seen Amari Cooper. Now DeAndre Hopkins is the latest. My understanding is this is in exchange for a 5th rounder that could become a 4th rounder. The two sides are still going back and forth now on salary. My understanding is the Titans are going to base some of DeAndre Hopkins' base salary for this year just to make it easier for the Chiefs to withstand the salary. But this trade is expected to happen. So KC has lost Hollywood Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster not going to play this week. But DeAndre Hopkins is expected to be there. You're right. This has been a long rumored trade. But listen to how fast it happened. It has been nothing but rumors till about, I would say, midnight last night, Kansas City time. The two sides got together. They kind of threw hypotheticals back and forth. By about 5 or 6 in the morning, today it became clear that a deal would happen, expected to be finalized soon. D-Hop going to join the Chiefs.
I think Carrington made a good point on Twitter, and I want to give him credit for this because this kind of full circles today's conversation. We have some people that are, ecstatic, that are, this is great. That's what you should be. This is a move your team need to make. And there's other people like, oh, well, he's older. He's kind of washed. He could get hurt, blah, blah, blah. Negative. Carrington says, solid player, solid move, solid trade. You gave up a 5th. You got a trusted veteran who fits this offensive scheme well, and you needed a move to make because you have lost 3 of your starting wide receivers, where your wide receiver room was Xavier Worthy, a rookie, Sky Moore, worse than a rookie, and Justin Watson. And then you had Travis Kelce, who's needing somebody else to kind of go along with him. And you're already without Isaiah Pacheco, which Kareem Hunt's been great. So you've added a veteran. You've added somebody that you can trust. And one thing this offense needs is they need that guy that can run that 6 to 7 yard route consistently, catch it, and then do either something with it or solidify that first down, because that's what DeAndre Hopkins is going to do. He's got, the longest active game streak of having a catch?
Yeah, he is. He's number one in the NFL. Binkley tells me via text message this morning that DeAndre Hopkins has a catch in 168 straight games. Kelce has a catch in 164 straight games, the 2 longest streaks in the NFL. And when Binkley was on with us today, spit knowledge about DeAndre Hopkins, he had mentioned that he only has 3 drops in the last 5 years or something ridiculous like that. So this is somebody that is reliable. And that's the number one thing that this offense really has needed over the last couple of years, is a reliable wide receiver. Not somebody who's going to be there at the games, but somebody who's going to make the catches when the ball is thrown to them. We were burned last year with a wide receiver who couldn't catch the football and who wasn't reliable. Now you've got a guy that has experience. He's really good inside the red zone. He's got excellent hands, and he's trusted. And the fact that you've got a guy that the quarterback can trust and that has a track record in this league makes things so much, I don't want to use the term easier, but it takes a lot of that stress and anxiety off of Patrick Mahomes, knowing when he lines up and looks around, okay, DeAndre Hopkins, whatever number he's going to wear, probably not number 10. That's worn by somebody else at this point in time. But he's probably going to look around and go, okay, I got DeAndre over here. I can count on you. I got 87 over here. I can count on you. All right, I got 2 guys that I know that I can count on if things start to break down. And that now creates more for the defense. Vegas is walking into meetings this week going, oh, son of a gun, they got DeAndre Hopkins now? Not only do we have to prepare to get our ass kicked, now we got to prepare for DeAndre Hopkins as well. It's another guy you have to prepare for. It's another guy that can make a big play. It's another guy that's reliable, and it's another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And so I just don't see any negatives whatsoever with this move and with this trade, and that's why we've talked about reasonable expectations this morning. If you think he's going to light the world on fire and be a 100-yard receiver per game, well, then you have out of whack expectations, because Jamar Chase has 2 games this year over 100 yards, and Justin Jefferson has 1 game this year over 100 yards. And those are 2 of the arguably the best receivers in the game today. So you can't have unrealistic expectations. Go in going, hey, man, if it's 3rd and 7 and he catches an 8-yard pass, that's great. If we got 3rd and goal and he catches a touchdown pass, that's fantastic. Go in with the expectations of 4 to 5 catches, 45, 55, 60 yards, and maybe a touchdown a game or something of that nature. And even that's a little much with a touchdown per game. But don't have huge expectations like you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a 150-yard receiver every game, because that's not going to be the case. And if you have those expectations, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment with this trade, which some people do, and that's fine. Do your thing.
Right. And we mentioned it earlier, 6 catches for 62 yards is what he averaged last year. He had 3 games of 100 yards. And if you missed our conversation on this, you can go back, because some of you might just be waking up and listening to the radio. DeAndre Hopkins, the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, is what we're talking about all day here on 96.5 The Fan.
Right.
But the thing is like our expectations, because somebody says, obviously temper your expectations. I think expectations need to be tempered. He's 32 and not the same Hopkins from 7 years ago. That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
We're
4 or 5 catches a game is.
We're not saying that he's going to be this guy that's going to go out there and have 9 catches on every game for 115 yards and the possibility of a touchdown every game. I think what DeAndre Hopkins is in this offense is for trust, liability, and security. And he's going to be that guy that Mahomes can look at and be like, hey, if it's, 1st and 10 and it's, 2-minute drill, first play of the drive, and I need to get out of this, back end of our end zone, then I'm going to throw you the ball and I need you to be there and I need you to have this ready to go. The other thing that's also the question is the knee okay? And that's, I think, the question that is fair to have on everybody's mind. Like, we don't know. We don't know what it is, but I know that if it wasn't at a point where Brett Veach didn't trust it, then Brett Veach doesn't make this move.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a 5th-round pick or a 4th-round pick, Brett Veach is very stingy with his picks, and Brett Veach is going to do his due diligence to know that what he's bringing in here is worth it. And I will also say that, he wasn't my number 1 option because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I like DeAndre Hopkins. I believe everything I've just said, but I don't go a day without not thinking like, man, it takes one, extended grab, come down, twist, and you're like, well, sucks. Obviously that's gonna be in the fear of your mind. I also kind of have that fear if you listen to the show Monday, where I just expect somebody to get hurt every single game in the NFL season.
But that's what happens in the
Yeah.
NFL. Like, if you're afraid of injury happening to a player, don't watch anymore. Because this is what happens in the NFL. You can't play in fear of injury. It goes back to the Monday night game with Chris Godwin and, should he have been in the game and all that kind of stuff. And then you hear from, Ryan Clark on ESPN and kind of puts it all into perspective. This is what these guys do for a living. This is their job. This is their livelihood. We're not going to sit here and rest guys and do all that kind of stuff because we fear injury. When you fear injury, that's when the injuries do happen. And so, does DeAndre Hopkins have a sore knee? Sure, he does. Was he our first choice? No, he wasn't, but he was definitely on that list, and I would say probably 3rd on that list. I mean, we like Darius Slayton. We like Deontay Johnson. We talked about those guys. That would be nice additions for this team. Probably DeAndre Hopkins coming in at number 3 on that list, and that's the guy they went out and got. But I can tell you just from talking to people inside the organization this morning and around the league, people are fired up about this move, and that's the most important thing. This team is so happy right now that the organization went out and did it. It's going to add bounce to their step, man. And if I'm the Raiders this weekend, I'm probably going to want to forfeit this game.
Diana Rossini says 2 minutes ago, while the Titans and Chiefs continue to iron out the details of the trade, the Chiefs are expecting DeAndre Hopkins to land in Kansas City later today, and the hope is to get him ready to play on Sunday against the Raiders, per sources.
That's right.
And again,
I like how they say get him ready to play. Go out and run this pattern and we'll throw you the football. It's,
Again, just 2 seasons with under 15 games played for DeAndre Hopkins. One of those seasons was because he was suspended, not hurt. This is a much more, I don't know what you want to say, durable, consistent player than people give him credit for. And if you still a little skeptical, still a little pessimistic, we're going to have a good friend of mine and midday radio show host in Nashville on the show in about 10 minutes to answer some questions. He's been really close to the D-Hop situation for the last 2 years. Maybe he can kind of ease some of your pessimism.
Sounds good. Tennessee Matt coming in clutch on a day that they acquire a Tennessee
back. You just stole one of Carrington's guests, you said?
That's right.
That's it.
Joined in 10 minutes by somebody out of Nashville. One of Mac's midday guys out there as well. Get you more information on the news today. That is DeAndre Hopkins, Kansas City. Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens, Mac Morey. This is Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan. It's your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, my friends over at Manning Roofing do an unbelievable job both on your roof and in the community. I told you I saw them Friday out at the BMA golf tournament. They were there supporting the community and giving back. And the one thing that I do notice every time I talk to the folks at Manning Roofing is how happy everybody is. And when you have happy employees that love working somewhere, you know the work they're going to turn out is going to be second to none. And that's what happens at Manning Roofing. Everybody's happy and loves working at Manning Roofing. And it all starts with Brian Manning, the guy in charge, puts everybody in a great mood, runs a great organization, and the guys that are going to be doing your new roof have been together for like 5 years. That's an eternity anymore, right? They love working for Manning, and they love working together, and they do an unbelievable job. And I can speak from firsthand experience because a couple of years ago when we had hail damage, we used Manning Roofing. They came right out and took care of everything. And one of the things they said is like, man, Bob, you need new gutters too. I'm like, well, who do I need to call for that? And they're like, nobody. We're a true general contractor. We handle roofs. We handle siding. We handle windows. We handle gutters. We handle it all, and we'll help you with insurance as well. They've done thousands of jobs and never have once been rejected by an insurance company. So even if you're not using Manning and you're having some insurance issues, get in touch with Manning today. And if you need that new roof, get in touch with Manning today at manninggc.com. That's manninggc.com, or give them a call, 816-448-8208. Manning is my one-stop shop for roofs, gutters, siding, and windows. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Why pay 20 to 30% interest rates on your credit cards when you can pay them off with our low 4.875 mortgage rate? Home values are higher than ever. That means you have more equity than ever. You can use that equity to save money by paying off credit cards, auto loans, or get cash for home renovations. You can even just lower your monthly payments. It's your equity, and you are entitled to use it to save money. And don't forget our appraisal guarantee. If for any reason your loan doesn't close, we will pay for your appraisal. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When Google Fiber first launched 1 gig internet right here in Kansas City, it cost $70. Cut to today. Over 10 years later, 1 gig internet still costs the same, $70. That's what you get with Google Fiber. Fast, reliable internet with simple, straightforward monthly billing. No data caps, no annual contracts, no hidden fees. Just a small local fee for the city on top of your flat, predictable price. Go beyond good enough. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at fiber.google.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas side 635 southbound heavy before Leavenworth Road, and it just crawls all the way down past State Avenue with an accident blocking 2 lanes. Past that, things improved considerably. Earlier accident past I-70 has cleared. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Back here on 96.5 The Fan. DeAndre Hopkins is a Kansas City Chief. Everybody on X is now tweeting the same stuff. We've gotten to that point. So if you missed the breaking news.
No new news.
Nothing. Now everything is, his plan is to be here today, start practicing, be ready for the game on Sunday, which should be the obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody even tweeted out it's going to be hard for him to get. No, it's not. He's 32 years old. He's been around this block before. You know what was hard? Playing with little Levi's. Ari Meyerhoff at My Sports Update tweets, in 2017, Kareem Hunt led the NFL in rushing yards. DeAndre Hopkins led the league in receiving touchdowns, and Travis Kelce led all tight ends in receptions. These are the 3 weapons in 2024 trying to help the Chiefs aim for a three-peat. Think about that for a second. 2017, man, how great those guys were. Travis Kelce still really good. Kareem Hunt still really good. And I think DeAndre Hopkins gets a new lease on life. We've talked about how much this is exciting the players inside the locker room and what moves like this do for the players inside the locker room. Think about now from the standpoint of DeAndre Hopkins. He gets that phone call this morning or last night or whenever it was that officially went down. Hey, you're going to Kansas City. You're now a Chief. Think about the renewed excitement and the renewed lease on life that he gets going from a 1-5 football team, a quarterback who puts mayonnaise in his coffee, to going to a 6-0 football team and a quarterback who puts ketchup on his steak. I mean, it is completely different from what he went to bed with versus what he's waking up with. And you got to think there's a pep in his step right now, right? Like DeAndre Hopkins is going, sweet, I'm going to that Nashville airport, seeing somebody sing country music, and I'm landing in Kansas City getting barbecue and jazz in about an hour and a half, and I get to play for the Chiefs, man. Like, that's a dream come true for DeAndre Hopkins today.
We'll be joined by Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone in Nashville.
It's a good salad at Jasper's, the Panzica salad.
They put that green goddess on it.
Oh, it's so good, man. He put some bread in there. The dressing.
We'll be joined by him in a few minutes here as we address what we believe is interesting with this move is that, you know, Patrick Mahomes gets a solidified target, a bona fide stud and a certified G, and you can't teach that, which is something of interest for the Kansas City Chiefs because, look, you'd mentioned this earlier, like the locker room's going to explode with this information. DeAndre Hopkins is a household name.
Yes.
So if you know him, the Chiefs players know him, there's guys in that Chiefs roster like, dude, I remember when you were in Houston.
There's dudes on that roster who grew up watching DeAndre Hopkins play. Now they get to play with the guy.
Right. And, Mahomes would be like, hey, like that Chris Farley skit on Saturday Night. Remember that time you guys were up like 24-7 against us in the AFC divisional round?
24-0.
24-0. And then we ran out of fireworks because we scored so many touchdowns and beat you. Like, now that could be fun, right? But no.
I don't know if you look over that, though.
It's tough, dude. That's tough. Like that stat still that like we ran out of fireworks because they scored too many times. Like that's like the worst part about that story if you're Houston.
Right.
Or the fact that they got Mahomes and you got the other guy that some local people thought would be a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it could be good. We all thought it would be, coming out of college, man. Right?
Somebody says he's not flying Southwest either. 15th sent his jet to him.
I would hope so, right?
I would think there's
like
somebody with
air share
with a PJ like going, hey buddy, it'll be there in 5.
Yeah.
And leave that barbecue there, and then we got you covered here. Even though there's some Tennessee barbecue.
Look, I mean, there's good barbecue cuisines in all of them. We just happen to be the best. But man, some of the sausage in Texas is really, really good. I'm telling you, it's really, really good. You get some sausage down there in Luling and Lockhart, the Central Market.
You think L'Jarius Sneed is in his luggage?
L'Jarius wants back bad.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah. I would imagine L'Jarius like, please take me. We only got one seat on the plane, man. But please take me, So, hey, L'Jarius got the bag, got paid, got his 2 Super Bowl rings. Now DeAndre Hopkins got the bag, and now he gets the opportunity to get his Super Bowl ring. So it's a good day, man. It really is. Like, it's a fun day to be a Chiefs fan. Fun day for us to wake up and say, hey, Mac, and if you missed the video, we'll get that posted a little bit later. We kept this a secret from Mac until we started the show and then told him live on the air, and he freaked out like he got a new Nintendo 64 for Christmas.
It was great. It was awesome. I don't know how you guys did it, but you pulled it off.
Well, we just made up stuff, and we were throwing things at you that made no sense.
Why are you guys annoying me?
You probably thought we were like, going through seizures or something in here. Like, what are these idiots doing?
Did they take a gummy without me? We go to Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Lucas, thanks for the spur of the moment arrival on our show. We appreciate it. Obviously, the news that broke today, DeAndre Hopkins is traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, do you have any dirt on Mac that you want to get out of the way real quick?
Oh, any dirt on Mac? Now, that's a good question. I don't know, man. Mac's a good dude. I'm going to keep the dirt in-house until he gives me a reason. Yeah. Until he gives me a reason to spill. No, look, I'm just happy Mac went to a winning football city, okay?
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a good bro to keep it in-house. But I do want to bring up DeAndre Hopkins, because the question that everybody's having, and I want to address this first, the MCL or the knee, like what was the concern level in Nashville, and like what was the talk of the town about his knee injury that everybody keeps bringing up on our text line?
Yeah, so he suffered that injury in training camp, and it looked like he was going to miss maybe the first 1 or 2 games of the regular season. He ended up being available for the Bears game, but had a really limited snap count. In fact, the snap count was fairly limited in the first couple weeks of the season, and then it started to rise a little bit. And really the last couple weeks, it's not been much of an issue. The reason DeAndre Hopkins' lack of production has been an issue in Tennessee is much more about quarterback play than it is about a knee issue. So obviously they pulled him on Sunday in the fourth quarter of the Bills game, and at that point the game was largely out of hand. And the speculation there is, okay, they're trying to preserve him. They're trying to move him. DeAndre Hopkins has been the first name at the top of any list when it comes to the Titans maybe being sellers before the trade deadline. Brian Callahan said the other day that he was experiencing some leg soreness. The truthfulness of that, I don't know. But to me, it would be more likely that the Titans are just trying to sideline him and maximize the opportunity to ship him. Now we see in a move to Kansas City. So I don't think it's a big issue. That's not to say it won't pop up at some point down the road, but it was not limiting his snap count really in the last few weeks.
You wonder, too, is this an injury because you're 1-5 and now you go to 6-0 and that injury all of a sudden is gone? Because that does happen a lot in the NFL, you know?
Exactly, right. See Devontae Adams. The calf has been magically healed since he arrived in New York, and he's getting a full snap count. So I will not be surprised to see DeAndre Hopkins get a full workload whenever his Chiefs debut comes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're excited to see him here, and we set reasonable expectations. Like, I don't know how you feel about this, but if we set a reasonable expectation of 4 to 5 catches, 60 yards per game, maybe a touchdown every other game, is that a realistic expectation to have for DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he was the splash signing for the Titans last year in summer of 2023. And the Titans have had a ton of experience with bringing in these guys that could be future Hall of Famers, legendary figures at the wide receiver position, the likes of Randy Moss, and, just players throughout Andre Johnson throughout the course of Titans history that have come in in the later stages of their career, not really contributed much. DeAndre Hopkins finally, debunked that, so to speak. He came in, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, despite all the issues the Titans had at quarterback, despite being the only target that defenses really had to worry about last season. He still went over 1,000 yards, and he still was a great target for Will Levis when he came in for his NFL debut. So, that would be a very reasonable expectation. DeAndre Hopkins can still play, man. He's still a pro. He still has the catch radius, and he's the type of receiver that think like a Larry Fitzgerald, right? That he can age into this league without it really setting him back. His game never really relied on straight line speed, right? I mean, he's a great route runner. It's never been an issue in terms of drops. And he's just an absolute pro on top of all of that. So it's been great to have DeAndre Hopkins in Nashville. He's been a great fit for the city, and I don't think anybody here would have anything but good things to say to him on and off the field.
Talking to Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Lucas, I want to bring this up because a lot of people kind of see Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins, and Bob just kind of, brought up expectations. But, what kind of, route running, or where do you kind of see, how they will utilize DeAndre? I know you say age can kind of, he's kind of like an ageless wonder. It doesn't really show in his play. But, I assume going over the middle is probably not his favorite thing to do these days at 32.
No, I wouldn't say that. Look, he's still a great route runner. And I see him and Patrick Mahomes establishing an immediate connection in terms of trust. Mahomes is going to be able to trust DeAndre Hopkins. They're going to be able to establish that very, very quickly. And this is going to be sort of new territory for Hopkins because he's going to go from being a sounding board, kind of a mentor to Will Levis, to now playing with the best quarterback in the National Football League. I'm sure that's a relief for DeAndre, and he never showed signs of frustration during his time in Nashville. Like I said, he's been a pro the whole way, but I bet this will rejuvenate him this season to legitimately get a chance to play for a Super Bowl, something that he has not had since the height of the Texans, right, when Deshaun Watson was at the peak of his career throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. So, look, he is an older player. So, 32-year-old DeAndre Hopkins is not 27-year-old DeAndre Hopkins, but like I said, I think his style of play has enabled him to age pretty gracefully in this league to where he can still be a high-level impact player. He was a 1,000-yard receiver just last season. Guys, I don't know how much y'all pay attention to the Titans.
Not much.
But with how inept that – okay, well, and for good reason. But with how inept that offense was last season, to have a 1,000-yard receiver within that offense was a feat in and of itself, and it was a credit to DeAndre Hopkins still continuing to get open despite being the focal point. Titans didn't have anybody else on that team on the outside that could get separation. They didn't have anybody else that could be a reliable target, whether it was Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis or Will Levis, in that rotating door of quarterbacks. DeAndre Hopkins was the constant last season. Now he finally goes to a stable, high-level quarterback situation. I will be very, very surprised if those two don't establish an immediate connection. And when healthy, DeAndre Hopkins, he may not be the player he was 6-7 years ago, but still will be one of the more reliable targets in the NFL.
So I know the Chiefs are excited from a standpoint of the red zone and utilizing this guy inside the 20. Can you speak to how he performs inside the 20 and why the Chiefs seemingly are excited about that aspect of his game?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about his catch radius, right? I mean, his catch radius is so wide. DeAndre Hopkins kind of defines that he's always open. He's that type of wide receiver. And we didn't really get to see that this year with the Titans. And it might scare Chiefs fans to look at D-Hop's numbers this year and think that the drop-off has started. But I promise you, the issues in Tennessee are a lot deeper than DeAndre Hopkins. We're having all sorts of conversations. At no point At no point this year did we in Tennessee have the conversation of DeAndre Hopkins is no longer the player that he was. Titans got to move DeAndre Hopkins because he's not giving them what they thought they would get in him. That has not been the conversation. The issue has been move DeAndre Hopkins because you've got to sell. You've got to rebuild, and it seems like you have your answer on your quarterback, so now it's time to look to the future. So, his catch radius for me is the number one thing. Route running and catch radius, those are the two constants throughout the course of DeAndre Hopkins' career, and that definitely comes up big in the red zone.
Talk with Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone. Lucas, you talked about him being a pro's pro, going to multiple teams, being with a lot of different quarterbacks. This is a wide receiver room in Kansas City that's really young, inexperienced, even behind DeAndre Hopkins. We don't expect him to come in and be a 1,300, 1,400 first-team all-pro guy like he was maybe in 2017, 2018. Still expect some production, but can you speak to maybe his leadership and what he can do in a young locker room that's still going to need some help behind him?
Yeah, look, I mean, he's not your rah-rah guy, right? DeAndre Hopkins is never the guy breaking down the huddle. He's sort of the philosopher of the locker room, so to speak. He was honestly a really good calming presence for a guy like Will Levis, who can get very high-strung, right? Levis is the type of quarterback. There's been a discussion about him since his college days. He can get too high. He can get too low. Hopkins was a great sort of stabilizing factor for Will Levis, and I think he could be that for a young Chiefs wide receiver room. So, look, he's very toned down in the locker room. He's not going to give you a lot in terms of those media scrums, but he's a really, really mature player. You're not going to get any drama from DeAndre Hopkins. He is a pro's pro, and I think the media here in Tennessee really appreciated that, and Will Levis benefited from that last year. I mean, and there were times where Levis is coming off the field way too fired up, right? You're seeing the vein popping out of his neck, whether it's something good or bad, and DeAndre Hopkins was kind of the guy that was there to balance him out, to calm him down and be that calming aspect. He doesn't need to do that for Patrick Mahomes, but I wonder how much that quality will help this Chiefs wide receiver core.
Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Hey, man, we appreciate the time. Have a good rest of your morning and afternoon, and we appreciate the D-Hop information here on our show.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
He appreciates us. Look at that. That's nice.
Nice guys in Nashville.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's also the voice of the Nashville Sounds, the soccer club, I understand. Is that true?
The Nashville Soccer Club, yes. Nashville SC.
Oh, at Nashville FC?
Nashville Sounds are the minor league baseball team.
I didn't know if they like adopted that name.
Yeah, but he's play-by-play for Nashville SC.
Somebody in the text line also said he is the Nashville Jay Binkley.
No, that guy hasn't been through multiple wives yet, has he? No,
Okay.
very young.
Engaged.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who's been through multiple boogers.
As far as the boogs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers. That's one thing I'm very proud of.
That was your first time on TV?
Oh, one time? What about as a child? Had to happen. Come on. Had to happen.
No, I honestly haven't.
You're missing out. Try it.
It looks.
Give it a go. It's great.
It's a tough look to try and defend because that video is a little incriminating.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can tell you that there needs to be a side view that shows that there wasn't a bug that actually went in the mouth.
Okay.
Bug.
Okay.
It seems like I didn't get anything on that one. That's why I was just kind of like seeing what was going on. But
he keeps calling it a bug.
I can't stop laughing and snorting because Pat McAfee, God love him, legitimately asked the question that everybody wanted to know.
We asked about it yesterday. Like, will he ask Aaron Rodgers or will he not? And he actually did.
Did you eat your boogers?
But he let him up. He's like, you ever eat your boogers as a kid? Not a bug, man. Like, I wish you could see the siding. If you have to defend angles when it comes to being a booger eater, you ate the bug.
You ate the bug.
As far as the bugs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
I just stop for a second, whatever you're doing. Pull over to the side of the road and think about that line for a second.
Mm-hmm.
That's 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the New York Jets, addressing whether or not he picks his nose and eats it.
As far as the bugs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
Things you never thought.
That's a lie because I just watched him do it on Sunday Night Football.
And he did. He goes, look, the angle, what am I supposed to do here? I got busted. He basically just said I got busted out. After he said he never ate his boogers, he got busted out. And I think when you're a dad, you start to have the fears that your kid's going to eat their boogers in public and do all that kind of stuff. We were very fortunate. We didn't have booger eaters. Were you a booger eater as a kid, Dusty?
No.
Mac, did you eat your boogers?
For sure.
You did, okay.
For sure.
I was not a booger eater. My friend Charlie was. It was disgusting. It made me sick to my stomach all the time with the boogers and stuff of that nature. But, like, once you reach, like, that ripe old age of, I don't know, 30, 40, where Aaron Rodgers is right now, probably, like, that's something as an adult male you don't need to be doing anymore, right? Like, eating your boogers.
As far as the boogs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
I've never eaten my boogers.
Bugs go.
As far as the boogs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
This is where we thank our parents for the education when we talk about stuff like this. Thanks for sending me to college. What'd you do today? We talked about Aaron Rodgers eating his boogers.
I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to wear number 18.
Why?
Because there isn't one. And he can't be 10.
No, he's not 10. That's taken.
Yeah, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16's available.
You can't wear 16.
Because it's retired. 18's available. After that, it gets weird, unless he wears like an 80 number.
I hope he wears something like a single digit or something.
Well, there's no single digits available.
I thought you said 8, 9.
No, I don't think so. 7, 8, 9 are all taken.
That's why 6 is afraid of 7.
Yeah. 1, 2. So he could wear 3. That would be interesting.
That'd be a cool number.
1, 2 is taken. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 retired. 17, 18 available. 18 or 3.
18 or 3.
Gosh, that's the poll question.
Yeah.
What number does DeAndre Hopkins wear? 3 or 18?
35. I love the single digit numbers. Like, I like the 0. I like the number 1. Like Malik Neighbors wearing number 1. We thought, boy, that's a bold move. Clearly deserves to wear number 1. He is that guy. But, like, why not 0 if you're DeAndre Hopkins? Do the Chiefs have a 0?
I don't think so.
No.
That'd be cool. Him is 0. Xavier Worthy is 1. Be cool.
Yeah, that
0
would
and
be
1.
0 and 1.
That'd be sick.
They don't have a 0.
Actually, they do. His name is Sky Moore.
There it is. Coming up on the other side, I have a discussion I want to have because I saw it on Colin Cowherd's show, and a guy that used to work in the city brought up a good point. I want to add to it. It involves 2 quarterbacks, one in the NFC, one in the AFC. They're the same, but they have a different narrative. Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens, Mac Morey. This is 96.5 The Fan. You're home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, if you're waking up this morning and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm tired of suffering from ED, I just don't know what to do, well, I've got the solution for you because half of men over the age of 50 have erectile dysfunction. And with even more of us affected as we get into our 60s and beyond, ED can also impact younger men, even in their 30s, which makes it one of the most pervasive conditions in medicine. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable. But you got to get over to my friends at Heartland Men's Health if you're suffering from ED, because you know it ruins relationships. It kills the mood, right? Well, Heartland Men's Health treatments work when the pills or herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some treatments can even have you last an hour or more. Heartland's Men's Health is successfully treating men right here in Kansas City. So what I want you to do is schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in your office, the visit is free. They have an expert staff, and if you're like a lot of men, you could be having sex the day after your appointment. They have 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and their new office in North Kansas City. So call them today, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This report is brought to you by Flying H Drag Strip. Drag racing is back in Kansas City. FlyingHDragStrip.com. Kansas City Drag Racing is back. Join us for Hooktober at Flying H Drag Strip, October 25th and 26th, featuring pro mod cars, top dragsters, and quarter-mile drag racing. Plus, Night of Heroes, free entry for veterans with military ID. Get tickets now at FlyingHDragStrip.com. A real horsepower hangout.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas side, 635 southbound. You're hitting delays past Leavenworth Road, and it stays off again, on again, slow down to State Avenue with an accident blocking the left lane. Although that has improved somewhat. It did have 2 lanes blocked until just a bit ago. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
Mac, you seem like a guy that would know this information involving the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Somebody says maybe he could pay Brian Cook for his old college number. Can you buy a jersey number in the middle of the season? Is there like any time frame? Like if you were to go to Brian Cook and be like, hey man, let me get that number real quick. Oh, you can?
You can.
Okay.
See, I thought the NFL had rules that you had to notify them a year in advance if you were going to change numbers or your name like Ocho Cinco did or whatnot. How much would you be willing to pay to get a number? I don't know what the rules are. I don't, it doesn't, not something that I really lose sleep over, but how much would you pay to get a certain jersey number? How much is it worth to you? 50 grand? I mean, I don't know. My friend Gene Watson sends me a text this morning. Not even good morning. It's, I need a 96.5 The Fan t-shirt. I'm like, Okay, $50,000. Whatever is paid for by DeAndre Hopkins for that jersey number to Brian Cook is what Gene can pay me for a 96.5 The Fan shirt. Nice shirts, right? How about
Yeah,
that?
they're not bad.
Well,
Dusty, I got him on today.
we just saw Devontae Adams do it in New Jersey, right? Malachi Corley, rookie, was number 17. Devontae Adams comes in and says, I'm going to be number 17.
You're going to be number 17. I'm going to take your number. That's a guy nobody ever heard of. Either way.
So if you're Isaiah Pacheco, what would you say?
$100,000, because Isaiah Pacheco should sell his jersey number because he ain't getting the big contract. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like Isaiah Pacheco now, you're selling everything you possibly can to make some dough back, brother.
We get into this next topic. Before we do that, I want to bring up our text line because we asked the question on our Wednesday text. Does DeAndre Hopkins' acquisition solidify the three-peat for you? Yes or no? And I'm not sure how many people are, it's getting closer. But again, the Wednesday poll question, does DeAndre Hopkins' acquisition solidify the Chiefs' three-peat? Yes or no? 51.9% said yes. 48.1% say no.
So if you're on the no side, what else still needs to be done?
Maybe another receiver
for that three-peat. Or is that getting greedy?
I don't think so. You lost 3.
Okay, you're going to get Hollywood Brown back, but most likely in December. Rashee Rice, probably not. The hamstring guy, Juju probably back as well.
But not for another. I fear he goes on IR and has to miss the 4 games.
Probably, but he's
that's what happened
one.
to Nico Collins. That's what I think is going to happen to Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans looks like he's going to be out till after
he's getting an MRI and he's going to be out that Monday night game, which kills that juice with him and Godwin being out.
And the hamstring, the only thing that heals that is time. So.
Time and rest. So again, I just go off what I have seen so far. It seems like Juju probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And he hasn't missed a week yet because he played last week and got hurt on like the first play.
Okay, so that's one position, right?
Yeah.
If you also have a tight end that's really good, a running back that's found the fountain of youth right now. Noah Gray's really good as well. Like all of a sudden, he got paid. He's coming on, and we also have a pretty good defense here in Kansas City to talk about as well. So I think like if you're on the no side of things, like I think now at this point in time, you're just being greedy and you think, we still need more. No, you've got a head coach that's legit. You've got a quarterback that's legit. You added a legitimate, reliable, trustworthy, red zone threat wide receiver. Got a tight end that's legit that plays big in the postseason and a defense that's one of the top 5 in the NFL and maybe arguably the greatest defensive coordinator of all time.
You are going to get Chuck Omenihu back
That's right.
at one point. Do you think maybe you go test the waters with a corner? Or do you trust?
Well, they signed some cat yesterday that everybody got excited about that I'd never heard of. Keith Murray, or I don't know what the hell the guy's name was. But people were like, retweeting that and getting excited about some guy they promoted to the active roster from a cornerback standpoint. No,
McDuffie's college teammate, I think it was.
Is that who it was?
I think so. I can't remember his name either.
Great. But no, I think right now, like, find me a more complete team than the Kansas City Chiefs. I think sometimes we evaluate and self-evaluate in such a negative way that you don't compare it to what else is going on in the NFL. How many teams in the NFL have a Hall of Fame head coach, a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame tight end? If the assistants got into the Hall of Fame, a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, a Hall of Fame defensive lineman, most likely a Hall of Fame cornerback in Trent McDuffie, and a very good running back in Kareem Hunt, Pacheco coming back. Like, guys, we're talking about Mission Hills problems, yo. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but like we're talking about problems that other teams wish they had. Could we get a 4th wide receiver?
I do. Well, I mean, you go get like Demarcus Robinson. Now I wouldn't be mad if you brought him into town.
No, it's fine.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I do want to bring up a conversation real quick because I go home every day. I know it's weird. Everybody goes home every day. Maybe not everybody. But I watch Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd. I just enjoy his program. I get to see some guys that used to work here. Danny Parkins pops on that show every once in a while. So does Nick Wright. And I thought they brought up a good point because Colin Cowherd was talking to Nick Wright about this. And he said, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are both just different than anybody else. They're the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. I think you could put Josh Allen in that category as well, depending on where you have him in your league. But then Nick Wright kind of comes back and says, the only thing I would say differently is that Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in football in September through November, and Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback from December to January. And until Lamar Jackson can really kind of prove that he can do that, then I can put him in the same sort of discussion, and he owns it. Like, I know that I'm a Mahomes homer, and I have Mahomes Mountain, and I have all this, and the Ravens fans hate me for this take. But it is true. Like, why does Lamar get a pass? Because what's the one thing that Fescoe always says about Dak Prescott? He can't win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When has Lamar won in the playoffs?
Never.
They beat Houston last year. It was tied at halftime, and then he was bad against the Chiefs. Like, he was not good. He's lost in games before. And yet Lamar, I get it, he's won 2 MVPs, and he's the favorite right now. I don't think he would win. But, like, why do we give Lamar the pass? Like, why does Dak not get the pass? Because you had mentioned something like maybe Lamar's nice to the media.
And I don't know that at all.
But Dak's never had a bad media moment.
Right.
Like, he's had the cameras in the locker room, whatever. Like, he said something like, get ready or something like that. And I think Dak has, got people cringed out with the, okay, here we go. Like, that's weird that he does it every snap.
And that dance that he does in warm-ups that everybody mocks.
Josh Allen loses in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson loses in the playoffs. Dak Prescott
everybody loses in the
playoffs
because of Mahomes,
But
right?
I mean, that's an NFC quarterback there that loses in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins loses in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yet, for some reason, Lamar gets a pass. And I'm not trying to say that Lamar's not good, but if we're going to heckle Dak and we're going to heckle these guys because they don't win in the playoffs, but yet then we talk about Lamar Jackson, like, oh, he's the next guy. He's the next best guy.
Well, I think a lot of it with the Dallas Cowboys probably has to do with the fact that it's the Dallas Cowboys, and people are just tired of the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like, every time they get a quarterback, it's going to be the next great thing because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Who was the last really good quarterback that the Dallas Cowboys had? Because Troy Aikman won, no question about it, but he didn't put up great numbers. You go back and look at Troy Aikman's numbers, and I don't know that he had a season over 20 touchdowns. Tony Romo, he couldn't win the big one. I think people are just tired of having the Dallas Cowboys quarterback shoved down their throat. I really do. And I think that it's as simple as that.
Yeah. I just wonder that because I thought they had a good discussion about it. And, Nick had brought up, talking about how he doesn't win the playoffs. And Colin's side was that it's him and Mahomes and it's nobody else. And then it's like we kind of give Lamar a pass. It's like, if you're going to give Dak the same sort of, I don't know, that's just where I was at. And neither one of those guys eats their boogers. But, Lamar might win his 3rd MVP. Patrick might win his 3rd straight World Series.
Yeah, and
or Super Bowl championship.
Give me the Super Bowl championship over the MVP every day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Coming up on the other side, we'll get back into what this day is. Do they make another move? And how much more confident are you in a 6-0 team? Seems wild to think about, but I know there was a lot of you that weren't. Bob Fescoe, McMurray, Dusty Liggins, you're listening to 96.5 The Fan. It is the home for Kansas City sports.
Fescoe and Dusty.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're waking up this morning and you've got those aches and pains and you're thinking to yourself, man, this arthritis is just never going to go away. I can't even walk upstairs and go to bed anymore. I can't swing a golf club. I can't even hang out with the kiddos. I'm in such pain. Well, here's what you're going to do. Don't keep living with that joint pain. Real lasting relief is possible, and you can get it with help from my friends over at QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back and getting their mobility back, and it's all thanks to QC Kinetics. They're the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed right in your achy joint, whether it's your back, your shoulder, your knee. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. And I'll tell you what, if you have that arthritis pain that's keeping you from doing those things you love in your knees, your hips, your back, or your shoulder, then you owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Creed. Are You Ready Tour with very special guests, 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH. November 6th, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH on the Are You Ready Tour.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Rock Holiday tradition returns. Saturday, December 7th, 2 shows, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Bring the whole family to the all-new show. Soaring guitars, dazzling lasers, and enough pyro to keep you warm all season. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra live in concert.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
When it comes to car buying, you deserve options. So at Volkswagen Lease Summit, we have 3 incredible promotions to pick from. Choose no payments for 90 days, 0% APR for up to 60 months, or we'll double your down up to $3,000. Pick out your car, then pick your promo at VWLeaseSummit.com.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas side, 635 southbound remains very heavy, approaching Parallel Parkway with an accident blocking 2 left lanes. Heading into downtown, 670 eastbound, slow rolling from the state line over past 35. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Well, we're living here in Brett Veach town. Without him, Patrick is not around. Out at Arrowhead, they're winning games, throwing touchdowns, holding parades. And Travis is catching the ball, dropping dimes to Tyreek and more. And our sacks are coming from Chris Jones. Ty's making plays. We need more parades. And we're living here in Brett Veach town. Living here in Brett Veach town.
Wait for it.
This has got potential, buddy.
There it is. Yes, it does. What a beautiful day.
Gorgeous.
Oh, I feel like it's officially kicked in. You see all the colors. The Royals add some Titan blue to their red and yellow.
Chiefs.
I'm sorry, the Chiefs. I'm still in baseball
You're
season.
used to the Royals adding, too. And, you know, I saw our friend Josh tweet out. He goes, JJ and Veach doing some damage on the trade market this year, right?
That's
We
right.
got two GMs who are wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, they just got their Lucas Irseg. DeAndre Hopkins is traded from the Titans to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5th-round pick. Could be a 4th, depending on whatever goes through. They do believe that he'll be in town today, get him ramped up, and get him ready to go for Sunday against Vegas. I kind of like your Canes bet with your daughter that he scores a touchdown because they're playing the Raiders. We talked yesterday about the puppet Christmas Day game. We'll revisit all that on Friday as we get really geared up for Raider Week. But today is all
of a
about
sudden Raider Week took a turn today, huh?
Well, also, I was telling Alex this, who's on after us. I'm like, so you seem a little giddy, and he's like, oh, I love these days.
These are the best.
And I was like, Bob was charged up this morning, and I was also telling him, I was like, but we never get this sort of luxury news. Like it's always like 1:30 or 5:45 before the news has to like put in their cassette tapes and say, okay, we got our package delivered. Then it's like, and so suspended. Shoot, you got to wait till Monday to report on it so you can get more information. And today it was like 5:45. You crack the door open and you're like, hey, by the way, Hopkins is coming to Kansas City. And I'm looking at the rundown. I just said, all right.
Yeah, we'll do this one. We'll do this show tomorrow.
I know what the assignment is now. Like the assignment is now DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. And more news will come out. But yeah, they gave him a 5th-round pick and could be a 4th. Brett Veach cooks once again.
He really does. And you know, this is an exciting time for the organization. It's an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan, even if we don't get DeAndre Hopkins, but it makes it even more exciting now. Number one, you got a guy that we know, right? DeAndre Hopkins is a known player. And I can tell you by just talking to people in the league and at Arrowhead this morning, you know, via the text message machine called the phone, there's a lot of excitement right now for this organization to get DeAndre Hopkins. It's like it's just like adding something new into your life, right? You know, you get that new Blackstone, or you get the new car, or you get a raise at work or something. You're feeling really, really good. And man, you got this great news, and it makes you feel even better. And they're excited because DeAndre Hopkins brings something that they really did not have healthy at the wide receiver position right now, and that's experience, right?
Yeah.
Juju Smith-Schuster's hurt. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. We have no power in the building right now, and it just all went out.
What the hell?
I think the backup generator will kick in. That was very weird. Is Binkley doing something on the roof again?
Bailey Zappi.
That was a zap.
My friend Britt in college did something.
Was that on the cameras
time.
are down? I'm sure.
No, cameras are on.
Cameras
Did the cameras get that poltergeist
That was
moment?
weird. That was just the lights in the building. Maybe somebody hit a switch. I don't know. But I assume we're back up and running. It's fine. So
sure.
So you know,
weird. You're a great dad if stuff like that happens. It's fine.
Yeah, just keep moving on. Right. The worst thing to do as a father is react. Like when your kid falls, they don't cry. They cry because you go, "Oh my God." Load up the silver minivan, Karen.
The 475 real quick, or 479 can take the day off.
All right.
If the old number 5s ever have kids, they'll be the new number 5s.
That's really good.
Or they, take the day.
I like that. No, take the day off.
I just like all those guys. So.
I do too. Those guys are awesome. I know they're excited because he brings experience. We don't really have that from a health standpoint right now at that wide receiver spot. So you get a guy with experience. They love the way he plays against zone defense, which makes, I know, Jay very a weapon in his arsenal. And they love the fact that he's going to be a big player in the red zone, I think, for this team. And that's why I think for my bet with my daughter, I bet her. I told her who she's leading her fantasy team. And I told her, I said, pick up DeAndre Hopkins, to which she responds, he doesn't really put up good numbers. I'm like, he's going to be playing with Patrick Mahomes now. I'll bet you a dinner at Cane's that he scores a touchdown against the Raiders this weekend. No response. I'm wondering how soon all the people in her league are going to say she's got insider trading, going on with some of these moves she's making in the fantasy world. But
do a fantasy show and see what your friends think about you when you're in a fantasy league.
Yeah, right.
It's not fun.
No. Oh, you know all the. No, I don't know anything. I'm making it up. No, I'm kidding. But I think DeAndre Hopkins does score. I think it just gives this offense a shot in the arm, rejuvenates them a little bit. Like, I know they're 6-0, and sometimes we have to keep saying that to put this into perspective. But this is a 6-0 football team that got better in the last 5 hours. And that's really exciting, man. It really is.
If you lost us on the app, go to the streaming. We are on that. Some people are saying that we are down, we are out. If you are not, if you are in that situation, you can go to the streaming on Twitch, Twitter, or X. YouTube should be there. My buddy Robert is letting us know. You were still running until Bob said, I assume we're back up and running. There you go, Aussie. Stay witty, baby.
That is fantastic.
But he also did confirm that we are online. So if you want to see the show or hear the show, you can go there for the audio. We are okay. Someone says, what's behind? Okay. I thought
What's behind you?
I don't know, dude. I get freaked out.
Empty wall.
I don't like stuff like that.
There's an empty wall and blinds. Like,
I just had the thought about how this will be the best route runner that Mahomes has ever played with in his career. No question. It's the best route runner that Mahomes will ever get to throw the ball to in his career.
He's
so
better
far.
than Tyreek, and I don't know. I'm just asking.
For sure.
How do you judge whether or not somebody's a good route runner?
How tight you can round your corners, how quick you can stop, your sideline awareness, your ability to shake someone out of their boots based on your hip movement.
Are we splitting hairs with him and Tyreek Hill, do you think? Again,
Two different styles.
Yeah, I would say Tyreek's extremely fast.
He can run a clean route
Yeah.
for sure, but DeAndre Hopkins runs almost a perfect
He's
route.
going to like dissect you.
So yeah, you're splitting hairs with route running. But
Yeah.
again, Tyreek Hill, 5'9", 5'10",
Yeah.
5'7",
5'7".
And is a speedster that like all he needs is like one move and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Whereas DeAndre Hopkins will put two on you before he even saw the first one, and it's like, how did he get
Yeah.
that wide open? Because he went in, out, and then he's here, and it's like you're screwed.
I think Travis Kelce has the most unstoppable move in the NFL.
When he fakes that
When
one
he
shoulder.
fakes right and goes
pivot.
left, and they
man.
fall for it every freaking
It's the
time.
pivot, man. It's
Awesome.
the old man in the gym that has the box move where he hits the
Yes.
ball and puts that left hip on you, and then you overcommit, and then boom, layup every
But
time.
I mean, it's like Tim Duncan. Like nobody could stop Tim Duncan from going off the glass every time. And like Travis Kelce does this every single time, and every single time people fall for it. So I don't know. I think it's the best move in the NFL. Nobody can stop it. Even Noah Gray's starting to do it. Have you noticed Noah Gray
Yes.
starting to do it too?
What, be a good-looking tight end in Kansas City?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys just got you're tight end, you got sex appeal, and you can catch. All right.
Yeah,
Come
fake
on
left,
in.
go right. I mean, it's wild. They're fake right, go left.
Radio is out. App and streaming services are working. So the tower must have gotten hit by something.
So the radio itself is out. The signal is down. Give Spectre something to do today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to find him, but
Well,
important sales meeting.
Yeah, is that what he told you?
No, that's
Oh,
what
the
that's where
station's
he's
out.
at.
I'm in a meeting. And so we're not on the air anymore. No, we're on the app and we're on the television, on the TV.
that's right. Coming up on the other side, we had an insider in Nashville, 104 to 5, The Zone. That right? That's the name of the station, right? We'll get back to that. Lucas Panzica joined us. We'll see what he had to say because a lot of people have been asking the knee. How's the knee holding up for DeAndre Hopkins? He might give you some solidification on the inside about DeAndre Hopkins on the other side here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty
What the hell's wrong with your station?
on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
I'll tell you what, my friends over at Manning Roofing are not only awesome when they're putting that new roof on your house, they're awesome in the community as well. They were out supporting the BMA golf tournament on Friday, and I noticed all the employees from Manning Roofing that were there, bunch in attendance, having a good time and smiling and laughing and just in a great mood, and that's because they work for a great company. And I know when I do business with folks, I want to hire people that like where they work, right? They have a good time at work. They like where they're going every single day. They're going to give you the best effort that they possibly have, and that's what happens at Manning Roofing. Most of their roofing crews have been together for 5 years or more, and that means it's a great work environment and they're happy to go to work every day. And that's who you want putting a new roof on your house, people that are happy going to work every day. So I knew when we had hail damage a couple of years ago, Manning Roofing was going to be my call. Called my friend Jimmy who works over there. They came out and they put the new roof on our house. They also said, hey, you need new gutters. I said, well, who do I call for that? And they said, nobody. We'll take care of that as well, because at Manning, they're a true general contractor. They do windows, they do siding, they do gutters, they do roofs, they do it all. It is a one-stop shop. Plus, they've done thousands of jobs here in Kansas City and have never once been rejected by an insurance company. So you need to set up your appointment at manninggc.com. That's manninggc.com. And if you used another roofer and have some issues with insurance, Call Manning. They can help you out. 816-448-8208. That's 816-448-8208 or at manninggc.com. Manning is my one-stop shop for roofs, gutters, siding, and windows. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
We interrupt with a special report from the Missouri Lottery. With a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year, there's no shortage of Missouri Lottery winners. However, there is currently a shortage of confetti. This may impact all confetti-related activities, hullabaloos, whoop-de-doos, jamborees, shebangs, and any and all festive goings-ons. Rest assured, Missouri Lottery winners will receive a single confetto with every big win for the time being. We apologize for the shortage, but not the winning. Thus concludes this report from the Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome. Play responsibly.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Ready to take your business to the next level? In today's fast-paced marketing world, staying ahead isn't just an option, it's essential. That's where scale marketing comes in. We don't just help you compete, we make sure you win. Whether you're looking to grow, expand, or overcome stagnation, Scale Marketing is your performance marketing partner. We specialize in helping mid-sized B2C companies with teams of over 100 thrive. Scale Marketing is a full-service agency offering expertise in performance marketing across traditional and digital platforms, creative production, and data analytics. We treat your money like it's our own, ensuring every dollar is spent with purpose and every decision is driven by data. Our knowledgeable team stays ahead of the trends, crafting strategies that align with your business goals. Partnering with Scale Marketing means gaining a dedicated strategist and a team committed to your success. If you're ready to lead the market, visit scalemarketing.com today. That's scalemarketing.com.
Expect mostly sunny skies today with a high of 70.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Right back in here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports news of the day that you'll hear the entire time is that DeAndre Hopkins was acquired by the Chiefs today from the Tennessee Titans for a 5th round, could be a 4th round. You'll hear it on Cody and Gold. I'm sure you'll hear it on Carrington's show, The Drive, with Rob Bretton as well. And you heard it this morning live for the first time on Fescoe and Dusty here on 96.5 The Fan. And Mac, who is from Nashville, not from, but comes from Nashville, had a good little ear out and got us a buddy of his. And this was Lucas Panzica of 104.5 The Zone in Tennessee on that question that everybody's had today. Outside of I'm excited or he's old and washed, and what about that knee injury? Here is the answer to that we got from Lucas Panzica.
Yeah, so he suffered that injury in training camp, and it looked like he was going to miss maybe the first 1 or 2 games of the regular season. He ended up being available for the Bears game, but had a really limited snap count. In fact, the snap count was fairly limited in the first couple weeks of the season, and then it started to rise a little bit. And really the last couple weeks, it's not been much of an issue. The reason DeAndre Hopkins' lack of production has been an issue in Tennessee is much more about quarterback play than it is about a knee issue. So obviously they pulled him on Sunday in the fourth quarter of the Bills game, and at that point the game was largely out of hand. And the speculation there is, okay, they're trying to preserve him. They're trying to move him. DeAndre Hopkins has been the first name at the top of any list when it comes to the Titans maybe being sellers before the trade deadline. Brian Callahan said the other day that he was experiencing some leg soreness. The truthfulness to that, I don't know. But to me, it would be more likely that Titans are just trying to sideline him and maximize the opportunity to ship him. Now we see in a move to Kansas City. So I don't think it's a big issue. That's not to say it won't pop up at some point down the road, but it was not limiting his snap count really in the last few weeks.
That's good, So, I mean, we had concerns, Dusty, no doubt, about the injury and the knee, and you didn't want to trade for damaged goods, but to hear that conversation and to talk it through, and then the Chiefs to make the move, they're not going to make a move for a guy that's laid up, right? You just don't do something like that. So, and so they feel comfortable with where the knee is, and again, they don't need him for an extended period of time. We need him for a couple of more weeks of the regular season and then the playoffs. And that is it. There's no money owed. There's no contract left. DeAndre Hopkins, after the season, is a free agent and is free to go about his business and about his day wherever he so chooses. And the reports from Arrowhead, this morning and yesterday that I was getting from some folks is that there's increased optimism that Hollywood Brown is going to be ready to go once December kind of rolls around, or sometime in December, and they're hoping to get him back and have him added into the mix. And so adding a fresh Hollywood Brown into the mix that hasn't played all year as we're gearing up for a postseason run is only something that can be very beneficial for the Chiefs. And so I feel confident right now, and I feel really good that Andy Reid's going to figure out how to use DeAndre Hopkins. I know some of the people are out there like, it's going to be difficult for him to learn the system. No, it's not. He's going to be put in the system. We'll give him 3 or 4 plays. We'll be just fine with DeAndre Hopkins out on the field. And even if he isn't the number one focal point, which I don't think he will be in any game, you still have to account for DeAndre Hopkins. And it's one more thing that the opposition has to prepare for, as opposed to Xavier Worthy and Justin Watson and Sky Moore and McCole Hardman. Now you've got this guy on your roster, and you've got to prepare for him. So that's what's going to happen moving forward with this team. It adds more intrigue. It makes this team better, and it makes other opponents have to fear and prepare and worry about another weapon the Chiefs didn't have some 5 hours ago.
No doubt about it.
And to Lucas's point on snap count, the last 2 weeks, Indianapolis, close game, played over 70% of the snaps. The starting wide receiver, he's out there pretty much the whole game.
That's great. Yeah.
And then last week, Buffalo, they're getting killed. He sits the whole fourth quarter. He still played 60% of the snaps. This is a guy who can be on the field and be there for you and be a really productive, quality wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Again, have tempered expectations. Just going on, cool. Let's see what he can add to the offense. Again, you go in with like fantasy football expectations of 1,000 yards per game and all. You're going to be disappointed. It's just the way it is. Go in with let's see how he helps the offense. Gives Patrick Mahomes somebody that's reliable, somebody that's valuable, somebody that the other team has to account for. But by God, if we need a 3rd and 7, that's your guy who's going to get you 8 yards. It's Sammy Watkins 2.0. And I've always been that Sammy truther. I know I've liked him more than other folks have liked Sammy Watkins over the years, but Sammy Watkins served a very valuable role in this offense of being there when the quarterback needed him. And we really haven't had that guy since Sammy Watkins left. And I know this is going to take a lot of stress and pressure off of 87 as well. He's feeling pretty good about this move. So it's great, man. It's a great day to be a Chief, you know?
Exactly. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Now it's not just Kelsey. Now you finally have another veteran who's like, I can help you out.
And
bro.
if you throw the ball, you know he's going to catch it. He's going to catch it. He's not going to drop it. Watch him first throw, he drops. Adam Schefter, Texans trying to steal the spotlight this morning. They signed former Eagle and Buck linebacker Devin White.
You think the Chiefs are done?
I don't know. I texted somebody in the league about that. I go, is this over, or are they going to continue to add? And I haven't heard back. I don't know. I mean, big picture, what more do you need? Because I know Cooper Kupp's name has been floated around out there.
Take it easy over there, Robert.
Throwing my hands all over the place today. The Cooper Kupp name was out there for the last 24 hours. And so I kind of did my homework and talked to people about, what's going on with Cooper Kupp. And from what I've been told by very reliable sources close to the situation under the condition, blah, blah, blah.
The boss is in.
Oh, God. Is that what that glare is?
Leave that man alone. He's got a lot going on right now.
He really does. He's getting like DeAndre Hopkins. Welcome to Kansas City, DeAndre Hopkins. So the Cooper Kupp thing is interesting because I talked to a lot of people yesterday about that. And the interesting thing, too, about the Cooper Kupp thing is the Chiefs have not talked to the Rams. As of last night.
We're back on, Steven.
We are? All
Confirmation
right.
from the text line.
There you go. As of last night, the Chiefs had not talked to the Rams about Cooper Kupp, and that's a fact, right? The Rams are trying to trade Cooper Kupp because he's, boy, that we got engineer guy in here and everything. Guy came running in with his, his engineer hat on. And
everyone's let me know we're back on the FM.
Okay, good. What was I going? Oh, so Cooper Kupp. So the Chiefs and Rams hadn't talked last night. It's the Rams floating out the ability to get rid of Cooper Kupp because they don't want to pay him $20 million next year. And they wanted like a second-round draft pick in return. And that's not something you're going to consider because the Chiefs truly value their draft picks. And they value, I don't want to use the term salary cap, but cash, right? Like, the salary cap is mythical. I'm a salary cap truther, but I am a believer in cash. And if somebody says, I'm only giving you $30 million to spend, well, you got $30 million to spend, whether the salary cap says so or not, right? So it's going to be interesting this offseason. There's so many guys that are going to be free agents. You've got Trey Smith, you've got Nick Bolton, you've got Justin Reed. Free agents, flat out free agents. And then you have Karlaftis and McDuffie, who are entering that 4th year. I know they have the 5th-year option, but that's like the franchise tag. God forbid somebody pick up the 5th-year option.
Right.
You start to negotiate these long-term deals. And look, Karlaftis and McDuffie absolutely 100% deserve long-term deals to stay here in Kansas City. So there's not a lot of wiggle room for the Chiefs when it comes to going out and signing players or trading for players now and then signing players next year in free agency because they want to keep their own. They want to extend their own. If you were to go out and get Cooper Kupp and have to give up a 2nd-round pick and then be on the hook for $20 million next year, did you become better as an organization? I don't think you did because those draft picks are so valuable for Brett Veach. Now you owe DeAndre Hopkins a prorated portion of whatever he's left. There's no contract for next year, and you gave up a 5th-round draft pick conditionally to a 4th if they make the Super Bowl or whatever the conditions are for DeAndre Hopkins to move up a 4th-round draft pick. So you give up a mid-round draft pick, 3rd-day draft pick, and you're not committed to any money, and you still get a very good wide receiver. That is a much better deal than going out and giving up a 2nd-round pick and still having to pay Cooper Kupp $20 million next year.
For those of you that missed it, we had a poltergeist scare at the radio station. The lights went out, they flickered, everything went off, so that's why we were off the air. We're back on the FM side. Never lost views or sound or audio on the app or on the streaming site, so you can go do that. Subscribe, 96.5 The Fan on Twitch, YouTube, X, whatever. This was Ian Rappaport earlier today on the acquisition.
It has been a long rumor deal that now is happening. Sources say DeAndre Hopkins, the star receiver for the Tennessee Titans, is in the process of being traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The champs continue to load up. Another day, another big-time receiver moves. It has certainly been a season full of them. We've seen Devontae Adams, We've seen Amari Cooper. Now DeAndre Hopkins is the latest. My understanding is this is in exchange for a 5th rounder that could become a 4th rounder. The two sides are still going back and forth now on salary. My understanding is the Titans are going to pay some of DeAndre Hopkins' base salary for this year just to make it easier for the Chiefs to withstand the salary. But this trade is expected to happen. So KC has lost Hollywood Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster not going to play this week. But DeAndre Hopkins is expected to be there. You're right. This has been a long rumored trade. But listen to how fast it happened. It has been nothing but rumors till about, I would say, midnight last night, Kansas City time. The two sides got together. They kind of threw hypotheticals back and forth. By about 5 or 6 in the morning, today it became clear that a deal would happen, expected to be finalized soon. D-Hop going to join the Chiefs.
FanDuel just tweets out, this is so funny, the Chiefs are going to be stacked in 2018. Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins, and Travis Kelce. The difference is with this is that you're not committing anything to DeAndre Hopkins, right? You're committing 0 to DeAndre Hopkins, a prorated portion of whatever he's owed for the rest of the year, and that is it. It's not like you signed DeAndre Hopkins this offseason to a 5-year deal thinking it's 2018, or Kareem Hunt, the same thing. What's he getting, the veteran minimum to play here in Kansas City? And then Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they're the ageless wonders out there. So you've got two guys that, will probably peak in 2017, 2018, and that era. But you're not asking them to come in here and be that same type of player. You're just asking them to be a piece to something and not having to be the savior and the leader of something. And as long as you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in place on the offensive side, I feel like you're really, really good to go with this offense now. And it's all about just fine-tuning and getting ready for the postseason and getting Travis Kelce his 400 yards in the playoffs and another Super Bowl.
Yeah, it said the Titans are going to eat at least $2.4 million of that contract. We had mentioned the cash and all that is real, but that means the Chiefs will pay, a little over 2.
I don't know. What's he do left?
I don't know. I think it was like a little over 4. If they're paying 2, almost 2.5, that means they're eating half that contract. And the Chiefs, like you had mentioned, had $4 million to spend. So still a little bit of cash.
A little bit of cash left, right?
Which would make sense for a guy like maybe I don't know, Deontay Johnson or a Darius Slayton,
right?
And maybe a I don't know, Demarcus Robinson reunion if the Rams are blowing it up because obviously there's rumors swirling around with the Rams organization, which we can talk about that a little bit tomorrow. But today we owe you all the attention we can on this move to the Chiefs that they acquired a wide receiver, which they needed because we had mentioned the analogy of the car, right? The oil, change oil lights on, the battery engine lights on, the tires are a little low, and it was like, okay, well, they're one pothole away from having to take it to the auto body shop and completely rebuild. What they've done today is they've gotten it maintenance. They've gotten the vehicle. They got the warning lights off. They've put a little bit of insurance into the car, and now Mahomes has that guy, right? And maybe a lot of you that have been skeptical on his play this year, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, receivers going down, have to change everything, have to worry about who's playing left tackle early in the season. Now you've added a security blanket, right? You've added a cheese blanket to your wide receiver room. That is DeAndre Hopkins, the 32-year-old veteran. That is one of the cleanest route runners and wide receivers in the league. Obviously, we found out has the longest active catch streak in the NFL, only to be followed up by one Travis Kelce, thanks to our guy, Jay Binkley.
Mm-hmm. Also, reason why Skip Bayless doesn't have a job anymore.
His photos?
He just tweets out, D-Hop is pretty desperate reach for KC. He's 32 in year 13, coming off an off-season knee injury.
Who's he work for?
Nobody.
Okay.
But I love that KC at least tried something after losing so many weapons. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give him that. But it's not I don't think it's a desperate reach at all. DeAndre Hopkins is only in year 11, by the way, for Skip Bayless, right? He said year 13. And he's missed only games in one season due to injury in those 11 years. So, I mean, I don't find this to be a desperate reach. I think this is a need. Like, a desperate reach would be like, all right, we're 3-3, everybody's healthy, but we don't feel right. Let's go get DeAndre Hopkins. That's a desperate reach. The Chiefs are 6-0 going, all right, we lost our weapons. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are great, but eventually we got to give them somebody to throw the football to. So they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins, a veteran wide receiver who makes the team better. I don't find that to be a desperate reach at all. I think teams that are treading water, doing the doggy paddle and whatnot, those are the teams that are desperate and make desperate moves. When you're a good team and you add to your roster, that's making your team better. That's not desperate. That's just a stupid tweet by Skip Bayless.
Well, I mean, chalk it up for all the tweets of Skip Bayless.
Oh, I know, but like we got to talk about this. No 6-0 team is desperate,
right? There was a little bit of signs that it was getting that way with Pet's heads falling off. You know, your running backs out, your top 3 wide receivers are out at some point. But no, they didn't give up any desperateness for that pick. They gave up a 5th. It could be a 4th. They got basically a 3rd-round pick in DeAndre Hopkins for L'Jarius Sneed.
That's essentially what they got, yeah. Like, if you're L'Jarius, you're just like, damn.
Enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Have fun over there. Tell me all about it.
Yeah.
Send me pics.
Like those are the decisions you make as an athlete. I don't
know what's going on here.
I don't know either. That was again the lights went out. But
I'm leaving at 10.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting the hell out of here.
This place is haunted. But I've talked to enough athletes over the years, and there's 2 goals for these athletes. It's either to get the ring or to get the bag. Once you've got the bag, you go ring chasing. Once you got the ring, you go bag chasing.
Oh, man, if it's going down again, I'm sorry. It's just there's a poltergeist. Look, now you got gold over here, scary as hell. I don't know what's going on.
Alex is scared to death. I think Alex is thinking there's ghosts in here. It's the ghost of Kling.
I am. Well, he's still alive.
Oh, yeah, so he can't. That's true.
Is he a cheese blanket or the brioche bun on the cheese?
Who, DeAndre?
Yeah. Nuke is his nickname, by the way.
I don't know. He could be that cheese skirt, too, that I showed you yesterday.
Yeah, that was sexy. That was.
I sent that to Q.
Did he respond?
Oh, yeah.
He goes, now I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, and I sent something back. I go, it's the cousin to the cheese blanket, and I haven't heard from him since.
I hope that man's having a nice time off of the season.
I hope he's just sitting back drinking wine, eating pasta, enjoying himself.
Listening to the birds. Remember that one we had on?
That's right. He's probably listening to us, right? Let us know.
Mm-hmm. Everything going good over there? It's
what is going on over
I
there?
don't know, man. I think so. We're on the air.
Okay.
From what I can tell.
From what you can, Robert Gathers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's his name, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
I nailed that.
Do we have like too much going on power-wise and we're not able to sustain
Well,
it?
it didn't do this until Cody got here.
Well, Cody messes everything up, like the cameras and all that, right?
Because of it's because of all the energy in this building, baby.
Did he show you how to clip the video yet so we can put you up? Because we've got the still shot of you up, finding out online.
If you missed this earlier today, go back and listen to the opening segment. Give you a background story. Bob and I are, kind of doing our things before the show. And our buddy Aussie has said you're good on both platforms. So I got my insider guy there that's letting us know. But Bob's like, seeing me out there cutting audio this morning. He goes, hey, by the way, DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City. So scrap the rundown. Can't find Mac. Don't know where Mac's at. We're looking. Bob goes to the bathroom. Someone's in there dropping a 2. And
I go, hey, Mac, are you in here?
And then
silence. So I'm like, okay.
And all of a sudden we hear, no, he's, we heard the door open.
Somebody tried to knock down the stall door, so I guess that was him.
So then we come back, and I looked at Bob, and I was like, I don't think he knows. And Bob's like, nah, he definitely doesn't know. He doesn't know the news. And I'm like, okay, well, this is right up his alley. This guy he was talking about wanting is from Nashville. Like, this is straight out of his, his roots over there. And then he came into the studio, and he's looking at us. He's like, all right, guys, cameras are working. I'm going to get the poll question up. Let's discuss it. And I'm just like, oh, my God, he doesn't know. Then he goes back over there into the producer studio, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, all right, we got to get him off the computer. When he gets on the computer, the first
2 minutes.
The first thing that's going to come up is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. And we're both like, the camera's working. Everything's going good. You're good. Everything. You look a little nervous. You look like you got a little heartburn.
Like,
you got a little.
what?
He's like, dude, stop. And then all of a sudden it's showtime. And I was like, Mac, do me a favor. Go to my Twitter and look, because he tweeted out Cooper Kupp rumors. Jay Binkley joins the show. It's Raider week continued. And I said, now go look at mine. And I said, and now newly acquired receiver DeAndre Hopkins. And the picture that I tweeted is his raw reaction. And somebody said it looks like he saw boobs for the first time.
Yeah, it was great.
And Mac just loses it. And I didn't even sit down for the first 5 minutes of the show.
Man.
That was outstanding.
I was so excited.
Yeah. I was like, Mac, make sure your camera's on too. And he's like, why? And I'm like, just put yourself on camera. And so we did. We caught it on camera, and everything is great. And we got DeAndre Hopkins.
To give you the reaction we have, and Bob, you can probably attest to this. It's like when you know that you either got your wife or your kids that gift that they know they wanted, but you made it the last one somehow, like methodically under the tree, or the whatever you celebrate, and they see it, and you just sit back and you're waiting. And you're like, I just want to see their reaction.
Right.
The best time that's ever happened to me was when the Red Wedding happened in Game of Thrones, because I'd read the books, and I was ready for the episode because I had seen how it built up.
Yeah.
And I was in a room with 4 other people that were all locked into Game of Thrones at this time.
And they didn't know?
And they had no idea. And I just sat back and I just
Whoa.
like looking at everybody, seeing how each person would react. And seeing your reaction was just priceless.
That's kind of how I was in the 13-second game, watching my wife flounder on the floor while I sat there and go, we got this. Whoa, you know. Fine.
Yeah. That was great.
Man, I'm glad we got him. I had no idea. I don't know how I didn't. I went to the toilet on my phone, didn't see it, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm glad I didn't. Glad you guys got to tell me. It was fun.
It was good, yeah. Like I said, sometimes you don't get many good surprises in life. That was a good surprise.
It's a great surprise.
Breaking news out of the NFL with a quarterback. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers says he is now dealing with a hamstring injury in addition to the previous ankle and knee injuries.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Aaron Rodgers is now also dealing with a hamstring injury in addition to his previous ankle and knee injuries.
As far as the boogs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
Are you buying that?
Maybe he helped out Devontae Adams and took a muscle strain and put it into his own. The excuses continue to pile up.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, how convenient.
If they're 5-2 and he doesn't have these injuries, like,
no, he's looking
I
fine.
buy nothing that Aaron sells. Nothing. The guy's a narcissist, and so the season's going bad. The coach got fired. His buddy's up in the booth picking his nose. Aaron's on the sidelines eating his bugs.
And
like
toads.
Conveniently, now has all these other ailments and all this other stuff. Convenient excuse for being 2-5, Aaron.
That's right.
As far as the boogs goes, I've actually never eaten my boogers.
Fair enough. We'll continue to wrap this show up on the other side and give you more information that we have. It keeps piling in on DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs. Bob Fescoe, Dusty like his back. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan. It's your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, that holiday travel season is coming up fast, and if you're going to be headed to the airport and flying out of town, you need to have parking at Park & Go, because everybody always says, where are we going to park? Well, Park & Go is the answer to that question. Number one, they have all covered parking, so you know when you're out of town, your car is always protected from the elements, and they make it so easy to reserve a spot. After booking your flight, go to bookparkandgo.com. That's bookparkandgo.com. Make your flight reservation and prepay. You'll see right there how much less it costs to prepay than it does on the day when you show up. So prepay, save that money, get that discount, and boom, you are good and you are done and ready to go. Then when you show up on the day of your flight, just give them your reservation number. They'll tell you exactly where to park. They've got that spot reserved for you. And as soon as you get there, the van comes and takes you right to the airport terminal. You're there in no time at all. And I love Park & Go because no matter what time you get back, like we did at 2:30 in the morning a couple of months ago, Park & Go was the only van there to pick us up and take us right back to our car. No other vans in sight except Park & Go. So you grab your bags, you walk off the plane, hop on the van, right back to your car. Do what we did and join their frequent parker program and earn points towards free parking. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in parking. Bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, helping to bring the game's biggest tournament to Kansas City. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Winchester at Lake City Army Ammunition Plant in Independence is the largest manufacturer of small caliber ammunition for the U.S. military. They're hiring technicians starting at $26.72 an hour with a $1,000 hiring bonus. Excellent day one benefits include medical, dental, educational support, paid time off, and company retirement contributions up to 8%. Join Winchester and serve the U.S. warfighter. It's more than a job. It's a mission. Apply at winchester.com/careers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
There's no place like the #1 sports bar to drive home the baseball season. Which team are you batting for in the Professional Baseball Championship? Head over to your favorite lodge to catch every inning of the action. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
We'll do it live here on 96.5 The Fan, where we've been all morning giving you all the information we can. DeAndre Hopkins to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5th-round pick. Could be 4th. This is kind of interesting. Tyreek Hill just tweeted.
Oh, well. Did his house burn down again?
Okay. He said, period. That guy can never let it go. Like,
me or him?
Tyreek. That's the guy... He's the definition of why when you go through a breakup, the girls, more often than not, I know guys have done this too, just erase everything.
Yeah, that's the new thing, right?
You know,
yeah.
Just Instagram, it never existed. They do the Men in Black, it never exists.
I always go with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I thought that was like a moment you do around 4:20 in the afternoon.
Usually that, yes, it is. Yeah. Have you?
What are you doing? Just checking out the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, man.
What's his name? Jim Carrey's in that movie.
Oh, really?
And God, who's the girl in that movie as well? But anyway, it's about a breakup, one of those type of deals, and they basically go into this doctor and have that entire time period erased from their mind. Because they didn't want to remember it anymore, right? They didn't want to remember the breakup and all that kind of stuff, and you end up erasing things of actual life that maybe you do want to remember,
Tyreek
right?
needs to do.
And then it is. He ought to call Jim Carrey and get that doctor on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and have that mind erased and wiped away because he can't let it go.
It's not good for his mental either.
Well, it's terrible for your mental state. And the older I get, the more I realize about the mental health side of things and how important it is. And sometimes you have to cut people out of your life, Dusty. I mean, there's a lot of negative influencers and people that make you come down, mentally and ruin your lives, and their mental brain sucks, and you got to get those people out of your life. And, some things times you got to take away things to help you move forward and cleanse that mind. And I really do like it. It's getting pathetic with Tyreek Hill and this whole hanging on to Kansas City. Bro, you made your bed, man. You got to lie in it now.
That's right. We,
And the fact is they've gone on and dated prettier girls and done good without them. And that's the other thing, too, that's probably bothering. Like, they really didn't need me.
Yeah. We had a poll question earlier today on our Twitter handle, 965 The Fan, or The Fan 965. Does the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins solidify a three-peat, yes or no? Stephen A. Smith on First Take this morning said this, and I quote, he believes Chiefs could pull off a three-peat after adding DeAndre Hopkins to the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, hate him or love him, Stephen A. Smith is on board with that poll question.
Yeah, stealing our stuff. That's fine. But, look, I thought they were going to three-peat without him. Now it makes it a little bit better with DeAndre Hopkins. You get a reliable wide receiver that Patrick Mahomes hasn't had truly in about 2 years. You get a compliment to Travis Kelce. You get somebody who never drops the football.
Right.
You get somebody who's good in the red zone. And you get that rejuvenated locker room where I think probably guys were looking around going, who's catching the football today? Oh, now we got DeAndre Hopkins. And you saw the tweet from Chris Jones that we talked about. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, people are excited about that. And those are the residuals that happen when you make a move. We're excited as fans. The players are excited, too. They love the fact that the organization went out there and did this.
I'm so excited. I might actually go try the chicken Big Mac after work.
Oh, really? After the news of the day yesterday with the
that's right.
E. coli and everything?
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I forgot about that. It's only in the quarter pounders, but still.
I don't know.
Maybe I stay away.
There was E. coli in McDonald's.
Yeah, there was over 38, 39 states. Kansas and Missouri both were part of this. Over 49 people had E. coli issues and it all goes back to the quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
So maybe
in the last couple of days.
Well, they still have some breakfast burritos left over in the fridge. I'll just take 2 of those home and eat them. I got to do what you hate today. The leaves.
Oh.
My tree has shedded majorly.
The oak tree never gives up.
No, dude. It's
the oak tree sucks.
I got to do it, man. The dog's bringing in leaves in the house. It's making my OCD go nuts.
Yeah. You know how many times I vacuum just because the leaves keep coming
I'm just
in?
I just got to do. I was going to do it yesterday, and then I was like, no. And then today I'm just like, you know what? I'll just go home and knock it out today.
Knock it out today.
So yeah, that's what I got to do. But no, I mean it's a big day for Kansas City. You know what? It's a good move. For a good price, for a good player, for a team that's 6-0.
Yeah.
And now you have that security outside for Patrick Mahomes for a third down play. Hell, 3rd and 1 could be fixed. I mean, just a quick little out, boom. DeAndre Hopkins is going to put somebody on skates, and I trust him 9 out of 10 times to be open on a little 1-yard play that you need. But again, we go back to the Wednesday poll question on the Fan 965. Does DeAndre Hopkins' acquisition solidify the Chiefs' three-peat? 51.6% said yes. 48.4% said no.
Not surprised about the closeness of the vote, I guess. I mean,
638 votes so far.
But I'm thinking, if you don't think it solidifies it, what's holding you back? Are you just saying because you're playing the odds and the odds are not there? But I mean, what's holding you back? If you were a dissenting vote, what more do they need to do for you to get to that spot where you think, oh, okay, now this does, I don't want to say lock in, but lock in the three-peat. You know, what is going to tell you that they're good to go for that three-peat if DeAndre Hopkins didn't do it? What's still the holdup for you? Is there a holdup for you? Because you asked if they're done. If I say, oh, no, they're not done, they're going to add one more player, what do you want?
Obviously, they were hurt in corner this past weekend with Watson getting hurt. They having to have surgery done for the year. Rasheed Rice done for the year. Hollywood Brown optimism that he could come back by playoffs. Pacheco was on a treadmill yesterday running.
Right.
Great sign. So we'll see how that plays out as well. But again, you add this and you look at the future. We talked about wins yesterday. If they get to 13, the AFC West is obviously over. Is that enough wins to solidify the number 1 seed in the AFC? You add Travis Kelce to this offense with DeAndre Hopkins involved in it. That gives him a little bit more space, you would think, Wouldn't that be something with DeAndre Hopkins on the field? We see Travis Kelce's numbers uptick.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Could, yeah.
But there's a lot of good things that come from this. And again, if you missed it earlier, we had somebody on from 104.5 The Zone in Tennessee, Lucas Pazika. He joined us, and this is what he had to say about DeAndre Hopkins.
Isn't that Nick's brother, Nick Fazika?
That's right.
Yeah, so he suffered that injury in training camp, and it looked like he was going to miss maybe the first 1 or 2 games of the regular season. He ended up being available for the Bears game, but had a really limited snap count. In fact, the snap count was fairly limited in the first couple weeks of the season, and then it started to rise a little bit. And really the last couple weeks, it's not been much of an issue. The reason DeAndre Hopkins' lack of production has been an issue in Tennessee is much more about quarterback play than it is about a knee issue. So obviously they pulled him on Sunday in the fourth quarter of the Bills game, and at that point the game was largely out of hand. And the speculation there is, okay, they're trying to preserve him. They're trying to move him. DeAndre Hopkins has been the first name at the top of any list when it comes to the Titans maybe being sellers before the trade deadline. Brian Callahan said the other day that he was experiencing some leg soreness. The truthfulness of that, I don't know. But to me, it would be more likely that Titans are just trying to sideline him and maximize the opportunity to ship him. Now we see in a move to Kansas City. So I don't think it's a big issue. That's not to say it won't pop up at some point down the road, but it was not limiting his snap count really in the last few weeks.
So there you go. Not limiting snap counts, anything like that. So
no, he's good. He's
rest
good to go.
assured that I think, and again, Brett Veach, smarter than all of us doing what he does.
That's right.
I think he would obviously do some due diligence on that and talk to some medical staffers, front office staffers, and be like, let's be honest, real quick, the knee. How do we feel? Wow, he seems to be fine.
Is his knee 1-5, and now it's going to be good because he's 6-0? Is it going to be an Aaron Rodgers type thing? Is it going to be a Devontae Adams type of deal where you're just in a bad situation and you're not going to really gut it through? Is it going to be a Whit Merrifield type of situation, or is it going to be a situation where he's going to be fine? So you bring him here to Kansas City, he's going to be great. NFL Memes tweets out, after acquiring DeAndre Hopkins, the Chiefs go from a team that was probably going to win the Super Bowl to a team that is probably going to win the Super Bowl. Yes, that's exactly right, because as everybody's celebrating today, as you should, the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, it makes it easier, gives you a little breathing room. Still a damn good football team. Still the best football team, in my opinion, in the NFL, top to bottom, 1-53, head coach, general manager, all that included. And, as we kind of started with this morning, like Brett Veach and Andy Reid went out and made this deal. This isn't Scott Pioli and Todd Haley going out and making this deal.
Dusty, with regards to leaf pickup, I have 2 60-plus-year-old oak trees that shed billions of leaves. The key is to mow over all the leaves, then mow over and bag the second round. Saves your back, and you don't use them in the leaf bags. Yep, that's how I do it. Mulch them, bag them, and then I have a compost spot in my backyard that I put the leaves in and let them go back to the world.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were lucky to have the woods behind our house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we just dump it all back there. And there are nights where I go out and watch it mulch. Just like, ooh, look at the leaves are turning into mulch right before my eyes.
No doubt about it. Hey, go do something nice for somebody today. It's been a nice day for your sports world of Kansas City fandom, so go do something nice for somebody today. You never know. It could change their day, week, month, or year. It is simply cool to care. Kansas City, stay nice, stay kind, and stay tuned in to 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold will come up with more DeAndre Hopkins news. Bob Fescoe, Mac Morey, Dusty Likens. Talk to you later.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.